getting closer. Well, can you tell me something, tell me something? Is it a wild shot of letting you know that you're the topic of all of my thoughts, yeah? And that I'm sick of this friend zone. Well, can you tell me something, tell me something? Well, can you tell me something, tell me something? Well, can you tell me something, tell me something? 'Cause I'm so sick of this friend zone.
Chasing love in an empty bar. Pour a drink till I make it past. The midnight hour seems to come and go, but I know. Walk on up with a drink in hand, sipping mixers cause you can. And all the lights begin to switch off. You're chasing the light, holding on for life, feeling the high, chasing the light, chasing the night, chasing the night, chasing the night, holding on for holding on for life, feeding the high, chasing the night, chasing the night. Hotel rooms and city squares, champagne bottles, drum and snare. The sights and cities seem to fall away when you stay. Locked in love for a night or two, losing sleep just to get off you. Day to day you wanna stay out. You're chasing the light, holding on for life, feeling the high, chasing the night, chasing the night, chasing the night, chasing the night, holding on for life, feeling the high, chasing the night, holding on for life, feeling the high, chasing the night, chasing the night.
We're stuck in your car on a Friday night, and we laugh away stuff we try not to talk about. Still your smile keep on heating up the climate, and all the blood to my cheeks are rushing out, yeah, yeah. And by accident, you're getting closer. Well, can you tell me something, tell me something? Is it a wild shot of letting you know that you're the topic of all of my thoughts, yeah. 'Cause I'm so sick of this friend zone. I swear that you look at me differently. Whatever it is, it just feels so real. And your eyes keep on talking in the silence, and all the blood to my cheeks are rushing now, yeah, yeah. And I'm hoping you are getting closer. Well, can you tell me something, tell me something? Is it a wild shot of letting you know that you're the topic of all of my thoughts, yeah. And that I'm sick of this friend zone. Well, can you tell me something, tell me something? Well, can you tell me something, tell me something? Well, can you tell me something, tell me something? 'Cause I'm so sick of this friend zone.
Chasing love in an empty bar. Pour a drink till I make it past. The midnight hour seems to come and go, but I know. Walk on up with a drink in hand, sipping mixes cause you can. And all the lights begin to switch off. You're chasing the light, holding on for life, feeling the high, chasing the light, chasing the night, chasing the night, chasing the night, holding on for holding on for life, feeding the high, chasing the night, chasing the night. Hotel rooms and city squares, champagne bottles, drum and snare. The sights and cities seem to fall away when you stay. Locked in love for a night or two, losing sleep just to get off you. Day to day you wanna stay out. You're chasing the light, holding on for life, feeling the high, chasing the night, chasing the night, chasing the night, chasing the night, holding on for life, feeling the high, chasing the night, holding on for life, feeling the high, chasing the night, chasing the night.
I fell apart when I saw you look at me that way. It broke my heart to see. It was a moment of darkness, a moment in time that I regret for being so heartless. It was a moment of darkness. Moment of darkness. I fell apart when I saw you look at me that way. It broke my heart to see. It's too hard, it don't come easy. I went dark, I lost it right away. And when it starts, God knows what I'll say. In my head, I had good reason. I went red so unexpectedly. I should have said that sometimes happens to me. It was a moment of darkness. We're stuck in your car on a Friday night, and we laugh over stuff we try not to talk about. Still your smile keep on heating up the climate, and all the blood to my cheeks are rushing out, yeah, yeah. And by accident, you're getting closer. Well, can you tell me something, tell me something? Is it a wild shot of letting you know that you're the topic of all of my thoughts, yeah? 'Cause I'm so sick of this friend zone. Whatever it is, it just feels so real. And your eyes keep on talking in the silence, and all the blood to my cheeks are rushing now, yeah, yeah. And I'm hoping you are getting closer. Well, can you tell me something, tell me something? Is it a wild shot of letting you know that you're the topic of all of my thoughts, yeah? Can you tell me something, tell me something? Well, can you tell me something, tell me something? Well, can you tell me something, tell me something? 'Cause I'm so sick of this friend zone.
Chasing love in an empty bar. Pour a drink till I make it past. The midnight hour seems to come and go, but I know. Walk on up with a drink in hand, sipping mixers 'cause you can. And all the lights begin to switch off. You're chasing the light, holding on for life. Holding on for life, feeding the high, chasing the night, chasing the night. Hotel rooms and city squares, champagne bottles, drum and snare. The sights and cities seem to fall away when you stay. Locked in love for a night or two, losing sleep just to get off you. Day to day you wanna stay out. You're chasing the light, holding on for life, fading out. Chasing the light, chasing the night, chasing the night.
Start your esports career now at play.eslgaming.com.
Mit dem Scheitel wäre es natürlich toll, wenn man den nicht vergisst zu machen, weil sonst ist es einfach nervig, wenn man jetzt...
Kannst du mir helfen mit dem WLAN-Passwort?
Mom, geh doch einfach auf die My Swisscom App!
You ready? Huh? Hey, he's a good boy, huh? You ready? Huh?
Start your esports career now at play.eslgaming.com.
You love it, you wear it. What's your style? Get your merch at shop.eslgaming.com.
Et voilà, Internet ultra rapide.
Toujours pas.
Ah non. Ouais, allô? Ouais, écoutez, j'ai un souci familial. Ça marche pas.
What's your style? Get your merch at shop.eslgaming.com.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another night here in the Swisscom Hero League, powered by ESL. We got a great start in terms of League of Legends yesterday, and we're back today. My name's Don Rigoni, and with me here once again, my dear Padawan here. I'm calling such stuff fair. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm really hyped for the games today, and I hope it's not going to be as stompy as yesterday. I hope we get a bit of a close game today, and let's see how that's going.
Yeah, a little one-sided affair there yesterday when Lustig managed to take down the High Church of Scuttle. Unfortunately, they fell in a swift 2-0. But let's have a look at the matches that will be taking place tonight on stream. We asked you once again to vote on Twitter on which of the matches you would like to see. And you guys voted for the match between My Insanity versus Noetic Frost. At the same time, off stream, Edelweiss will be facing off against La Cité. We'll, of course, as always, keep you updated on our social media channels at ESL Swiss and Swisscom_gaming on the results of the other match that is currently going on. Yeah, I mean, we had a quite an interesting match yesterday, and yeah, we realized that apparently a lot of the players are currently opting to rather ban comfort and target comfort picks of our players here rather than go full on for some meta reads. I personally was a little bit disappointed that we didn't get to see any of the like spicy new picks coming into patch 11.18. For example, we've seen Amumu as a support pop off. We even see like some Quins being run as AD carries. We haven't seen any Akshan either, so a little bit of a pity, I'd say, but I mean, we can still get surprised.
Yeah, I mean, we got to see a Lulu top, which you don't see. You don't see often. Now we've seen picks like Anivia and like a Kha'Zix and competitive play as well. Like I think we've seen some quite interesting stuff yesterday. And yes, but as you said, like the focus so far really is on banning out these comfort picks and also playing these comfort picks, the picks you know you can play very good on. However, maybe that sometimes does not really work out with the full team composition.
Yeah, absolutely so. I'm actually, our players are currently preparing here, waiting for some updates. But at the meantime, we can have a look at the current bracket and what is as we speak our results. So far, we had 2 qualifiers in the last 2 weeks ago, where the best 16 teams, 8 of each qualifier, made it to the round of 16. And then the winners of that round made it to our quarterfinals. The first of which we streamed yesterday, where Lustig, as mentioned previously, took down the Untitled Chapter 2-0, and off-stream Fragbox actually managed to come back after lagging behind with a 1-0 against Le Schmitz, meaning they will be joining Lustig in our semi-finals that will be taking place next Tuesday.
Yeah, today we have Mind Sanity against Noetic Frost and La Cité versus Eloise Esports. Who do you think has the upper hand on these 2 games? Like, I know Mind Sanity as a brand from also Rocket League and Noetic as well. Like, how is it in League? Is there like a real favorite in these games today, or is it not really known?
I definitely say that Mind Sanity here is the let's say both of these organizations have a quite long history in terms of not just, as you mentioned, various other esports titles, but also League of Legends. Mind Sanity kind of being the biggest organization in the German-speaking part, and Noetic kind of being the same in the French, like in the Romandie to a certain degree, also doing a lot for the community there. What I can say, Mind Sanity has certainly found more success so far, both nationally as well as internationally. They made it into semi-finals in season 2 here of the Swisscom Hero League, and also won it, what was it, like season 3 or 4? I'm not 100% sure anymore. I'd have to consult my notes on that one. But also internationally, they had a roster in the Pro Div of the Prime League, of course, and even though they were relegated into Div 1 after that split, they are still a super well performing team with a very, very talented roster. We see a little bit of a different iteration coming into season 6 here of the Swisscom Hero League, but they nevertheless, I expect a lot coming out from them. At the same time, Noetic Frost, they have a roster of, well, let's say they've been playing together for quite a while, showing up basically every season now, and actually doing quite well. Also being there for some upsets in the past, really through the power of friendship, essentially, and just the fact that they've been playing a lot together.
Yeah, I think we can just quickly look at the Mind Sanity lineup for today. It's gonna be Sioser in the top lane. Actually, I know Sioser already, or I know the name because he has already played Rocket League. And if you don't know yet,
did he?
Yes, he has actually won the Switzerland 2016. He has won the Rocket League tournament, but he also played quite well in the league tournament. I'm not quite sure if he won that as well, but I already know the name from the Rocket League scene. So
what a legend.
Apparently a very talented player in multiple games. So let's see how he can pop off today, or if he's rather just going to be a decent player.
The more you learn about the guy, I mean, living legend himself. He's been a staple in the Mind Sanity roster for like the past 5 years or so, moving over from Arctic Gaming back in the days, and apparently seems not only to be a very staple and professional top laner, Yorick aficionado, one of the best ergets that we have in Switzerland, and also, of course, being a very proficient driver of any tractors. And being featured in so many interviews I got to have with him as also the captain a lot of times for the Mind Sanity roster.
Yeah, and quickly go through the rest of the lineup. We have Broken Barrel in the jungle. He's very well known for his Gragas and Kha'Zix. We have Vango in the mid lane, also a veteran. Swiss player. He is very good at pretty much most of the mid lane champions.
A bit of
I'd say.
jack of all trades as well there.
Then Maddie and Seku in the bot lane, a very talented duo. And I'm actually curious if they can pull out the Thresh Aphelios, because I've seen Maddie playing a lot of Aphelios recently as well and really likes the champ. So I'm curious if we are able to see that today or if it's going to get banned away.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting here. That's the Swiss top side of the map here versus the imports down in the bottom lane. And you mentioned Aphelios Thresh. Usually a very strong combination. Both of these champions, though, did get nerfed in anticipation to the Worlds patch coming up with 11.19. So, big question here whether we can see that coming. But take us through their opposition here in Noetic Frost. Who we got going in?
Noetic Frost, we have Katsiko. Actually, used to be a jungle main. Now he's swapping to a top role. He hasn't been playing a lot recently, as I've heard, so we'll see what he's going to be showing us today in the top lane. Then in the jungle we have Naski, a really talented jungler so far, really likes to play Hakarim, and also a little bit of Kha'Zix, I think. So let's see what he can provide us today.
I mean, we did some deep diving, of course, into those players' stats and profiles, and Naski kind of seems to be the low-key superstar here for the team. He's looking quite strong on a huge variety of champions. Not the highest in terms of elo certainly, but his performance on a big variety of champions seems to be really fantastic here, as Eliogal in the mid lane plus Tito together with Sharpess do round out this roster here for Noetic Frost. And I mean, all Naski, Eliogal and Tito we've seen compete in the Swisscom Hero League here in the past to varying degrees of success. They made it all the way into the semi-finals last season already. Sharpess was the new addition to that roster, if I'm not mistaken, but also Eliogal here, kind of a staple player from the French-speaking part of Switzerland as well, who's I'm always very pleasantly surprised by him, because he really seems to shine in these competitive settings.
Yeah, it's always lovely to see actually people popping off in this competitive setting, because yes, solo queue games you can pop off here and there, but actually like when it matters, then some people just don't have the nerves to pull through and actually just get it done.
We get a bit of a notification in here that we're being told apparently there's a big likelihood of there being a no-show here from one of our first teams due to the current debate that is going on Twitter about the behavior of some of the players currently playing in the league. If you want to keep updated with that, make sure to check out our Twitter feed at ESL Swiss, where we'll be keeping you updated. We'll of course share any information here with you as soon as we get to know more. Yeah, but anyways, this gives us a little bit of a chance maybe to talk about the meta maybe in general, and maybe also what we're expecting, maybe also coming into Worlds, since it's only like 2.5 more weeks now until the play-ins start. And I mean, you're as a newcomer into the whole League of Legends scene, how do you actually feel about this? Are you at all like excited? Is this like something you can even grasp? Is this something that gets you excited, or are you like, okay, what's the big fuss about?
I think I actually started playing League through friends, just like, oh yes, play League, it's actually quite a nice game, and like I got in, but I actually really enjoy like watching LEC, watching the pro plays, and then actually seeing like why are they doing this, what is the macro play of this, who gets the more out of this play, and why do they do that. Like I'm super curious, and I want to see like the most information, like why is this a good play. And in League of Legends, like you have so many items, you have so many champions, you have so many things you can do different. That is like some teams, they sometimes do something really different than others. So it's always very nice to see like teams adapting to the current meta. As you said, like an item is getting buffed, so maybe they'll suddenly start playing Karma top lane or something like that. So I'm really curious to see now in Worlds, like I think they buffed Kog'Maw AP as well, the AP scaling on the E on Kog'Maw. So maybe Kog'Maw is coming back to the bot lane, because I think I haven't seen that one in a really long time in competitive play.
Yeah, he's also not really strong. He had a bit of an uptime, especially I'm not sure which patch exactly it was. Must be somewhere around like patch 11.12 or 13, I think, where Lulu was buffed quite a bit and shown some love, as well as Kog'Maw, like also getting some minor buffs. We actually saw that come in. Also, it's kind of a pocket pick these days, and a lot of especially quite a few LPL teams picked it up in the past, where you kind of go quite a tanky version of the Kog'Maw, actually, making sure you're like really hard to kill. Because you do have enough damage output just from like the W active when you just get that max health damage shred, and then making sure you become really hard to kill, not going full glass cannon actually. So people have to invest a lot into taking you down to begin with, and then you still have that passive to like come back from it. We've seen like top esports, namely Jackie Love, pulling that one out first, if I'm not mistaken. By the way, just as I'm personally a very huge fan of the LPL, and I can only recommend our viewers, of course, to check out those splits here and there on some of the matches as well of that league, because yeah, that's quite a bit of a different league, quite literally, and always super exciting to see these kind of this brawling style that also influences so many teams all around the globe. I mean, we've seen it so much also coming out of the EU teams now this season, like the Mad Lions and Fnatic, really kind of adapting more to that style we see coming out from the Chinese teams.
Yeah, I've actually seen a video today about it. They were questioning the LPL players, what they think of the other regions, and then there was like, LPL, it's just like, yes, they're fighting. There's like fights happening at every time of the game, and they just want to fight. LCK is more about like, they really want to get the macro play, and it's really about strategy wise. And then the LEC, LCS is more about like, they have fun with the games, I think. Yeah. And they find these interesting picks, these interesting compositions, then actually work.
I'd argue LCS more of a clown fiesta, but back to the Swisscom Hero League here. We actually gonna be showing the other match instead, since in fact Noetic apparently did not show up for the match. And therefore we'll be showing Edelweiss Esports versus La Cité here for that match here of the day. We got Theoloris. Coming up in the top lane here. What can you tell us about this team, since this is your area of expertise now?
Yes, I mean, Theolor is very well known to go underneath the enemy tower and then tower dive already level 3, level 4. Like, he's a very strong top laner.
And then dying, or does he get away?
It's a bit like a mix of both. Like, sometimes he pulls it off, sometimes it's a bit too much. Like, he really likes to go in a bit too much and die then as well. But like, he's very well known for having this priority in the top lane that he can provide. He has some very good picks. For example, the Aatrox, then he's a very good Wukong and Poppy. So maybe we get some interesting picks to see there. We have Naufin in the jungle. He is very good at stuff like Jarvan, Xin Zhao, stuff that is really good at the moment, like these AD junglers. Then the DC is the ex-coach of the squad. He used to be coach for them, but now he steps in as a mid laner as well for them. He has a very good Silas, but also can provide like a more team-oriented style with a Galio or with a Twisted Fate. Like, he can play quite a lot of champions these days.
Yeah.
Then we have Elix and Centaur in the bot lane. Elix, a very young but upcoming player. He's really strong, and will grow more, and I think he has a bright future ahead of himself. He can play pretty much all of it, but I've seen a lot of Aphelios played by him in the qualifiers.
Yeah.
So he really likes the Aphelios, and maybe we see an Aphelios today, even if Nötig doesn't play. Maybe we see it by Elix.
Fingers crossed.
We also know that Centauri is a really good Swain player. He really likes to play Swain. So maybe we see the Swain coming out from him, but maybe also the Thresh when the Aphelios is getting picked.
Yeah, it would certainly be quite an interesting one here. Let's actually have a look here at their opposition for this game. We just had like some like new blood here coming out from the roster of Edelweiss Esport. Here, this is more the lineup here of the old guard, so to speak. I think barring their mid laner, everyone has played in the Swisscom Hero League before. We got Arno up in the top lane, we got Motomoto in the jungle, we have 667 in the mid lane, who doesn't have a name, unfortunately, poor guy. And then we have Hitokuro together with Kyozom down in the bottom lane. Hitokuro, of course, being a very proficient and a long-standing ADC player. And then Moto, there we go, he suddenly got a name. Lucky guy. Motomoto also being able to play a variety of champions as well as Arno. Arno actually in the past, like, he really likes to bring out these strong split pushers like the Fiora, like the Camille, and I could really see them opting for that one too, going into this game here. As we are ready to get into game here with those two teams. And I'm certainly quite curious here at what they are going to bring. Unfortunately, due to the fact that this was quite a short notice switch up here, we don't have too many insights on the strategic perspectives here of these two teams. Of course, you can provide us with a little bit more insight there on the side of Edelweiss Esports. And but I'm personally looking forward to an interesting match coming up.
Yeah, and it looks a bit like it's the old guard against the new generation, as you said. Like the side of La Cité has played in recent Swisscom Hero Leagues already. Now Edelweiss, it's their first season. They have been playing together for like 6-7 months now. But they had a good coach. They have played some very cool tournaments as well together with him. So let's see who is going to win today. Is it going to be the really experienced roster, or can the new generation actually keep up with that?
Yeah, I mean, yesterday we just saw like two teams actually who've both had a lot of experience. This time it is really that clash of generations here. Kinda the Swisscom Hero League equivalent of like a Mad Lions versus G2, or like the small Lion. Let's go. It's like the Lion Cups versus, I don't know, G1, I guess.
Probably, like we will see. But I'm really hyped today, actually, to be casting Edelweiss, me as actually an Edelweiss member as well. Like, it's super nice to see them on stream now as well. It's a bit sad that we didn't get to see my Insanity against Nötig, sadly. But at least we have a game we can get a cast, and I think this is actually going to be a really good game.
Yeah, definitely. So, and maybe, let's see, I mean, maybe we get to see some of these spicy picks. I mean, Soraka currently really strong. Amumu can also be really put to work, either in the jungle with both the tank build or even some full AP builds we see come out from him. Then also, we saw a Vayne already yesterday who's popping up here and there a little bit. Ezreal, of course, still being really strong in the current state of the meta. But especially in the bottom lane, there really seem to be a lot more viable options coming up, especially like in a competitive setting, while we've seen like a lot of Ezreal, Varus, and Aphelios, of course, in the past, like Tristana making her way in there now as well. We might even see some Twitch again. He's also really benefited of his buffs. He got a 10 AD on his ultimate, on his spray and pray, and yeah, I mean, doesn't seem like much, but when you're actually just like throwing out so many auto attacks, it actually does add up quite a bit. So maybe we see some interesting strategies come out there. Also, actually, Yuumi looking a lot better in the current state of the meta, coming back a bit. Also got quite a significant change to her passive, raising that skill ceiling a bit higher, so you can't actually just AFK on your ADC anymore. Well, you still can, but it's like more beneficial to hop off here and there.
Yeah,
to get those shields in.
Yuumi players, well known for just being eating or doing something else and pressing E. But yes, maybe you can do some hop off and on a bit more today. But actually, like as you said, a Soraka Vayne would be a very nice combination with which had success in the past already. Soraka can provide a lot of healing, and now with the buffs as well, it's like it's really getting a bit out of hand, you could already say. But I don't know. Maybe Elix is, I think, not really a Vayne player. Maybe we see it on Hitakuro, but we will find out today. But I think actually, I'm really looking forward to an Aphelios.
Yeah, let's hope our very best here. Would also do decently well here, I think, into probably Hitakuro's best champion that I think is probably the Kaisa. We've seen him bring that one out a lot in the past, and she also just got a bit of a buff to her supercharge, her E, that will have a lower cooldown, especially in the late game. So that could also be a good choice here for the side of La Cité. But we're into draft now. Let's see what they're gonna be opting in for as they are still making their final strategic decisions here. Of course, things like the 6 still being pretty strong down in the bottom lane can really harass your early scales super well, and that's the Rek'Sai here being taken out from the side of Edelweiss first.
Yeah, Rek'Sai, I don't know, is it a target pick, target ban against Mutmuta?
Yeah, it definitely is. I think he played that quite a bit. I think Rek'Sai and Olaf, if I remember correctly, are like his most played champions here. Xin Zhao makes a lot of sense. We saw yesterday what a good Xin Zhao can do, how much agency he really has, and together with Lee Sin and Viego, he's been like the trifecta of the most present and most contested junglers in the current meta. And there is the Leblanc that's now also being taken away here. Leblanc is actually super interesting champion because she's always a bit, she's never to be counted out because she's a really decent blind pick that is always a threat to be reckoned with. And she actually has a quite high presence in professional and high level play. As there's the Shen that's now banned away, something we don't see too much. Can you maybe give us some insight on the Dolores proficiency on that champion?
Yeah, I think Dolores is actually kind of known as well for his Shen. He really likes to, when he's playing Shen though, he really plays for the team. Like he doesn't try to get, sometimes he can get solo kills. We've seen, actually we've casted one Shen from him in the qualifiers already. He played against an Akshan top.
Okay.
So you can kind of imagine how that worked out. He basically just taunted him and got the solo kill around level 3. So yes, that did not really work out too well for the Akshan top. Well, but usually when he's picking Shen, you really play for the team. You get level 6, then you use the ultimate to save your bot laner, save the mid laner, and just have that global pressure with you.
And there we have the Thresh here being locked in first for Edelweiss. This already indicates that we might be looking at that Aphelios you teased us on about, but also combines, of course, super well with other hyper carries, especially something like the Jinx, for example. But there we see the Saya Rakan duo come out on the side of La Cité. Unfortunately, in the wrong order, therefore the splash arts do not line up properly. Shame on you, La Cité. But there is the Aphelios being hovered right now. It does certainly need that safety here come out from the Thresh. And actually with the current state, like Rakan and Thresh are the most played supports currently. And Saya also getting some buffs in the past. In the past, Thresh and Aphelios just being nerfed. I think it's a clear advantage here on the side of the bot lane for La Cité, but of course you always have that big threat of the late game Aphelios once he hit hits those 3 or 4 items and just throws all these 200 years at your face. And there's the Trundle now coming out for Edelweiss Esports.
Yeah, but actually, as you said, very interesting to see. Saya Rakan is actually a very prioritized duo in in Switzerland. We've seen it yesterday already, having quite some good performances, but also the Thresh, really high priority pick here. It's not getting banned away. The bans were more focusing on the solo laner, on junglers. But yes, bot lane, I think actually no bot lane bans here, where as you can see in pro play, usually 1 or 2 bot laners, they're always off the board. But here, Thresh, Aphelios, 2 insanely good, really good synergy between the both of them, and Saya Rakan, obviously amazing synergy as well. But we see an Aurelia locked in for 667, can also be played top and mid, so
great flex option here to not give too much away here to your opponents, and then the Silas here taken away from potentially being picked up by Edelweiss. On red side here, they of course do have that last potential counter pick here into the likes of Edelweiss here. As now Jarvan here is also being banned away, and then the Poppy. So they really are respecting Dolores here on the top side of the map. Want to make sure he does not have too much influence here on helping his teammates out too much. And also the Rise here just makes a lot of sense. Also indicates that they are aware of the flex possibility here coming out from the Irelia, and Rise also being such a popular mid lane choice currently, because it's just like in his current state, he just is able to farm well. He can really pop off, and he always is that late game insurance for your team. Plus you have some really nice flank and also dive angles potentially for him, and that's a Graves here being picked up by the side of La Cité.
Graves is actually, it got nerfed for the lane, but I'm not quite sure if you still can play it. But looks like Graves is going to the jungle because it is a jungle main. However, you could also play Graves mid lane. I've seen that.
Theoretically, yes.
Yeah, theoretically. I expect that to go into the jungle, so Graves jungle. Now they have to be careful because they have a lot of AD on their side. Yep. And now the last pick, most likely top or mid, yeah, depends on where the Irelia goes, should be an AP champion. Otherwise they just can pick something like a really tank, and you just can't shred
like a
him.
cannon mid lane here potentially could make a lot of sense here. Also into that Yone, who appears to be the mid lane choice here for Edelweiss Esports. Him also getting a bit of a buff to his W, more of a shield there for him, but kind of full AD comp here on the side of Edelweiss Esports. And yeah, very, very focused on that Yone and Aphelios damage output. Other than that, they are more on the utility side of things, also with that Ornn, but of course also with these Ornn upgrades, they do have quite a bit of late game potential here. Talking about late game though, that's a vampire for Arno up in the top lane, and boy oh boy, I've seen that guy on this on this Bloodsucker in the past, and yeah, he can be super strong on that, and also kind of has a free lane into the Ornn.
Yeah, but true. As a free lane, however, Theoloris, he really likes to play aggressive, so maybe can actually get something out of it. So I don't think it's going to be a super easy or super free lane for the Vladimir, because Theoloris, even though he's an Ornn who is more like providing support and giving the items, he also likes to go quite aggressive and can get the solo kills even with a tank.
What is production? I saw it. By the way, we get an update here for the other match that was supposed to be taking place on stream here. The death win will be granted to My Insanity here due to a no-show coming out from Noetic Frost. Therefore, it will be counted as a 2-0 here, and now we are really ready to look at the second match here of the night. I hope that it's gonna be a tense one. between those two teams. Personally, looking at the draft, I honestly gotta give the advantage to La Cité here, because they just have such an explosive potential here on their side. I mean, Saya Rakan, Saya, she like used to be such a late game focused carry. She's not anymore, because that blade caller these days does a lot of damage in the early game already. Rakan, of course, providing that engage potential quite reliably, and to get paired together, they're just such a strong and oppressive lane, and at the same time they're super safe. Irelia, if you've watched any games of Fun Plus Phoenix in the past couple of weeks and months, you know how much of a how much potential an Irelia mid lane has, and I personally really fear that here for Edelweiss. And then between the Graves and Vladimir, there's just no lack of damage here on their side. But of course, on the side of Edelweiss Gaming, you have that Yone, you have the Aphelios, and as soon as those two champions hit 2, ideally like 3 items, they're really gonna start popping off.
Yeah, and of course, you also have the Ornn items, the ornaments coming in around level 13, 14. So they'll only get stronger towards the late game. Aphelios also quite insane if you have seen Aphelios' late game. So Edelweiss, they're known a bit more for getting towards this late game, but also more like getting the team fights right.
Yeah.
Because they can kind of neutralize the lane so they don't get killed. They're not all of the Edelweiss members are really insane in lane. Theoloris is really good, however the others are quite more to neutralize, but then actually just in the team fights they have really good angles to engage. We've seen Yone from the DC before who was really popping off, so yes, if he finds a good angle for an ultimate, then that could really just cost the team fight for La Cité.
Yeah, and also like the Trundle in the jungle should really not be counted out, because if he starts to get rolling, he can be so oppressive, and even bully someone like the Graves here completely out of his own jungle, because he has so much sustain with his W. He has some great clear potential, and also does offer some really good CC as well as utility to his team. And now we're ready to jump into game here. Both of these teams getting ready. Let's see whether we're gonna get some level 1 action here this time around.
Already very interesting to see Vladimir is going for a call first item,
yeah.
So he is expecting to just farm up in this lane, scale towards the late game, and get there a bit earlier than all the others. But
yeah, really.
I'm curious if he is going to have such a free lane against the Theoloris, or if it might get a bit in trouble because of that call by.
Well, I mean, he knows it's kind of okay. This is going to be a farm lane. I'm a Vladimir into an Ornn. He's a big punching bag kind of for me. I mean, yeah, Ornn can play quite aggressively early on, but really fully taking down a Vladimir will be super tough, because he always has that pull, and Deloris also opting for the grasp of the Undying rather than the unsealed spellbook, for example, where you can really swap to something like the Ignite and create some early game pressure. I think I personally would have preferred the unsealed spellbook here, also looking at some potential late game fights where you can get an exhaust in, for example, and an exhaust onto something like the Irelia or the Vladimir in the super late game can be quite impactful.
Yes, that's very true, but I think Theoloris, he just really wants to play for his team. He has the grasp there, you get really tanky over time, so I think he just wants to provide this late game or already mid game ultra tank that La Cité just can't shred through. Obviously they have a lot of damage, but as we know, Ornns, they can get very tanky, especially if they get a lead in lane, or if they are just kind of neutral as well. They can get really tanky, and I expect this bot lane to go quite aggressive onto each other, because yeah, it's Zaira Khan and the Thresh Aphelios. Both of them have great engage and also great disengage, so there's a lot of fighting power in the early levels already. So I'm expecting this game to get bloody quite fast.
Yeah, I gotta agree there. It's also interesting here because to just look at the plethora of different keystones we got here from these players, because honestly, like a lot of the champions that we have in the game, great hook there onto Itakuro. Blade Caller does connect, and with them peeling back here with the shield coming out from Kyozom, he does keep his AD carry safe. Ignite here is expended though, as well as the heal for Hitokuro, and that's a great Blade Caller here.
Oh, Ignite is being spanned as well. Elix has to flash away. Now the
Hitokuro
play back into the tower. Hitokuro survives with 10
first
HP.
blood,
Centauri flashes forward and gets the first blood.
Does manage to take him down there, but first blood was actually claimed there in the middle by 667. Meanwhile, Yone is teleporting back. We might hopefully get a chance here to have a quick look at that replay here. That was a fantastic hook there coming out from Centauri onto Hitokuro, pulling him underneath the tower, making him pay there for over-aggressing just a little bit onto the Aphelios, trying to pick up that kill. And with that one tower shot anti-flash forward, he actually managed to get that kill under his belt.
Yeah, it's really good for Edelweiss for the bot lane. They got one kill already onto the Saya. Saya does not lose a lot because they had the
quite
push.
The contrary. I think she even evens out the gold here by picking up that huge wave down there. And there we can actually have a quick look here at what happened in the mid lane. Both summoners were expended there. A 667 charges up the passive here. W does tag the DC.
Oh, the stun.
And then he just connects here. DC trying to flash away, but the Ignite is already down. And if the Irelia gets that passive stacked up, she will really hurt you bad. And yeah, our dear Yone got to experience that firsthand here.
Yeah, very well played by the Irelia. And the Irelia, they really need to be careful about her, because when she can scale freely, Irelia is a really difficult champ to handle, especially if you don't have this exhaust in the team. Now, we've seen before though, Dialoris, he still gets that push into Vladimir. Vladimir already had to base, so Dialoris has that TP advantage in the top lane. So if they want to create a play bot, we've already see the ward behind them. They could do something like this.
Yeah, and there are absolutely no summoner spells to speak of anymore available for the bottom lane of Edelweiss. 667 does eat quite a bit of a turret damage here. Does have to go back to base here, or no, he actually decides to chuck that refillable potion here. As Kyozom potentially still has the engage here on the bottom lane by preserving that flash. Even though there was a lot of action earlier. But so far, looking across the board here,
oh, that's a knock-up onto Arno.
Yeah, but there is the pool. Does manage to get away, and now Motomoto is up here to help his vampire friend out, and that's a kill claimed here for Motomoto. Cleanly done, punishing Dolores for overstepping here. Was not aware of the position of the enemy jungler there, but this gives the chance to Edelweiss here to pick up that first dragon.
Very well seen by Moto to actually punish this Ornn, who was always pushed up underneath that, or not quite underneath, but in front of the enemy towers. So he uses that pathos towards top and punishes Ornn with his first kill. Actually very nice to see the respect flash from Arno away from Theoloris, who was flashing forward. Here we see it again. Arno with a pool to escape, so he doesn't get killed here. But Motomoto is already behind Theoloris, so there's no escape for him. He flashes forward to try to get the kill somehow, but Motomoto is there, and his damage on the graves is already quite huge. Yeah,
and I really like this here for Arno, because he knew, like, even if they are trading kills, it's kind of fine for him, as Dolores here might be caught out again. Motomoto is just there to alleviate some pressure off of his top laner. Arno now potentially getting to set up a freeze here in front of his tower.
Ignite is gone down on Elix, but I think they're just gonna run away here. There was a lantern as well, so there's not too much, but it was a good trade for La Cité, so they should have a bit more freedom in this bot lane. The DC just catching the wave and...
Bottom lane on the side of Velocity, just about to hit level 6 here very soon. And Kyozome on the Rakan does still have the flash available, but Illich's flash will be back any second, and so will Zentorres. So quite a tight window here to potentially get that flash engaged with the quickness and the great entrance, as there's the hook being thrown at. Kyozome, I think, saw this one, is spotting out the enemy opposition here, invading onto that Gromp here from from Lassite, I mean.
Yeah, already a great invade. They knew Graves has spent so much time in the top lane trying to help Arno out. Oh, that's okay, good trade so far. But Theolore is already now getting quite tanky, and Arno isn't that much. So yeah, it's a bit of hitting each other on the head.
Yeah, it's just like one of like they're beating each other up with pool noodles at this point. The pool noodles, currently Orange pool noodle does hurt a little more with those Qs being thrown out back to back. But like the more CDR Arno gets here, the more he's gonna be able to just sustain back up, and in the long run, Dolores will always lose this matchup here. Also, why I really like this pick here, as they're once again trying to punish Dolores here. Moto flashing in there, taking 2 tower shots. I'm getting flashbacks
on
to
the way as well. Oh, but he's going on Moto.
There's a knock up, and yeah, they're just trying to pull off the wave here, and Arno eventually claiming that kill here as 667 being a good mate, coming up to help and making sure they get their poor top laner a little bit of extra gold.
Yeah, it's really difficult to play this game for Theodore so far. He had quite good prio in the top lane, pushing this Vladimir underneath his tower, but he has been punished twice so far. Graves pathing top quite often. Now now Finn is actually gonna lose his top side jungle for this, because they just had so much prio on the top lane. Everybody was top, and 667 was already pathing top as well. So he cannot really contest any of this.
Yeah, I can also like the approach here from Lassite. I mean, they realized quite quickly, okay, we have complete priority down in the bottom lane, and the Aphelios Thresh lane does take quite a while to actually scale up to a point where they are threatening to the game plan of Lassite here, as there might be a bit of an engage here, a bit of a brawl going on around. Oh, there's the steal away. Finn taking that one away, and Moto now being knocked up there in the back of the pit, but does manage to quick draw over the wall. But the Herald here does go over to the side of Edelweiss, and I'd say you take those.
Yeah, it was very well played. I think Moto, he shot the smoke screen onto Naufin, so he didn't see how low the Herald was, so he tried to prevent this from stealing it. But I think they just know that they can win this 3v3 here, and Theolore's already got a quite good trade onto Arno, and Arno is not really in a position to fight this at the moment. The DC going in with his E and gets a lot of damage down to 667. Now Moto is alone in the pit, but is able to just dash over the wall, so
yeah, also them
no kills.
Really well combining the Fate Shield there together with the flash forward from Naufin, really forcing Moto to the back of the pit there, and making him shake in his boots a little bit. Probably also why he... I didn't check whether he even had the smite ready and available, but now Edelweiss Esports is once again looking at the dragon here to pick up the second dragon of the game, and they do actually manage to establish river control here.
Yeah, so far it's a 4v4. Both top laners have a TP, so they can match the play whenever they want. They're all on a ward. I'm not quite sure if they are aware of this ward, and it looks like Saya just wants to get this bot wave, and Elix and Naufin are just doing the Drake here. I don't think this is getting contested. The Drake is already quite low. Naufin smites it now away. And we see a fight in the top lane.
Yeah, the flash are being expended from Arno, but decides not to try and run down the Loris just quite now. As Kyosum, they're potentially looking for an angle onto Naofin. Oh, beautiful flash there over the flay onto Naofin. He does get saved here by the Lantern, and they do manage to get to safety here. Beautifully done by both teams here, actually. Kyosum with a perfect flash there to get an engage, but then Centauri flashing away and saving his jungler with that Dark Passage, as now Elix is looking for some action here onto Itakuro. But the Blade Caller stops him in his tracks, says, no, thank you, I'd rather keep my farming going here. Kyosum does Battle Dance out of there without breaking into a sweat again. Yeah, Sayara just really, really hard to lock down, FYI. As we can see once again, the ultimate missing there from Arno.
Oh, the ultimate from Theolores as well, so it's a bit of a...
They're like, okay, you failed, I'll make sure you're not going to be too embarrassed. And I'm going to shoot mine wide as well.
Yeah, but so far it's actually, you see the skill of both teams. There's a lot of action going on, but both, they kind of have quite good disengage. Thresh, obviously, with the Lantern, has very nice disengage tools. So there's only a 3-1 kill score at the moment, but there's a 2k gold lead for La Cité. However, on the Edelweiss side, you have 2 Drakes plus the Rift Herald. So I'm curious, where do you think they're going to invest that Rift Herald?
Honestly, doesn't really... Well, now in the middle lane, certainly, or I really hope they do, because like it's too late for playthings now, and that's a bit of a mistake here, I think, on the side of Edelweiss, as once again Dolores tries to get in there, but Arno now also having that Rift Maker completed and just finishing his cull, does have quite a bit of gold in his pocket already. Actually, I'm not like super experienced in the current meta what like the way to go is for Vladimir, but it's interesting here to go with the Rift Maker. Kind of saying that he really wants to go for these extended and long fights, but they make me tell lies here using that...
Ooh, very nice double knockup by Theolores. TP invested as well. Arno's tanking the tower for very long. He has to pull to escape, but the DC is on the chase. He should be able to secure this kill. So he gets a 1-for-1 trade. Very good TP invested from the DC to
they actually get a second charge here down in the bottom lane, taking out the tier 2 turret, and those are quite significant because ever since like 2 patches ago, then I actually provide you with a lot of gold, and they even get a third charge here. La Cité completely overstaying their welcome up in the top lane, and Edelweiss are swift with the punish.
Yeah, it's a very good punish for Edelweiss. They know exactly, okay, they invested 2-man top, so we can try to use this tempo bot lane, set the Herald as well they didn't use already, so they can secure them first turret blood, plus also get a second tower there, which does provide them with a lot of gold. And gold on this Aphelios, you really don't want that from the side of La Cité. But I think they were, La Cité also was able to get the mid turret from Edelweiss, so... Yes, I think it's favoring Edelweiss, getting more gold on the map, but this mid turret, that really hurts for it.
Talking about the gold here, the first mythics are now coming in, both the AD carries here finishing out their mythic item with the shield bow and the Kraken Slayer respectively. Makes a lot of sense here for that Xayah. You're not opting for a potential Gale Force, because like the idea of La Cité's comp at this point is just like go forward. We have a lot more damage than our opposition for a long time in this game during all the early and especially mid game. So we just want to make sure we get that advantage and get to possibly snowball that, as Edelweiss is looking to claim that second Rift Herald there for themselves.
Wait, there is a fight going on in the bot lane. And
yeah, that's some Irelia gameplay there for you. Does have that Blade of the Ruined King finished, and that not only gives you a nice amount of healing, but also quite a bit of sticking power with the additional movement speed. And now that Irelia is super strong, already 2 kills underneath her belt, and this also leaves that first Infernal Drake wide open here to be picked up by La Cité.
Yeah, and Yone opting to rush Berserkers first, and then not having his mythic ready for this fight. I think Irelia just beating them.
Killzone is in there. There's the Blade Caller now. Thresh does fall here quite quickly. Naofin also being caught off guard here. Dolores in the middle of everybody. Hitokuro managed to take him out there, and now Elix is also left to the dead here. And then Motomoto teaming up with his buddy the Vampire once again, and they do secure themselves a 4th kill. So in the end, they do trade that 1 tower in the middle lane, but get 4 kills in response. That's a worthwhile trade, I'd argue.
Yeah, I really would like to see how this fight has started, because I feel like they've just overstayed their welcome on that mid lane turret, and they just really wanted that, and then they just caught off guard, and yeah, they just got killed. And a 4-for-0 trade, you really don't want that.
Yeah,
so I think
they're coming off. Yeah, they're coming off the dragon take here, and Edelweiss kind of knowing this here, and Killzone just like he doesn't even hesitate a second. Pops the quickness, goes right in there, scatters them all over the place here, and then also a nice flash here from Hitokuro, rooting down Theolores. And now Finn just tries to run for the hill here, and even Arno investing the flash there to get that double kill. That's quite a fed Vladimir here, if I've ever seen one. Already does have the Zhonya's Hourglass here completed after the Rift Maker there, and currently is the 2nd richest member here we got in the game right after the Irelia here from 667.
Yeah, at the moment it really does not look good for Edelweiss. They're down in gold in pretty much every role. They were able to, like, La Cité, they really put some focus towards top, so they made sure that Ornn is going down. But Ornn, he is a tank. He just provides utility, so it's not too bad if he dies 4 times in a row. However, he still should provide his teammates to get something on the other side on the map. And as you see at the moment, there's a 1-2 Yone and a 0-1 Aphelios. They didn't get too much. They got 2 towers and a bit of gold, but I think that's just not enough.
Yeah, kind of the problem that is currently like really becoming evident that we mentioned in draft. Let's hold the phone there. The DC might just go down here once again, but no, they managed to turn it around here onto 667. Now Finn is right there to help out his bunny Yon, and he survives with just a sliver of health.
Naofin arriving really at the perfect timing there. Used his pillar, I think, right at the perfect moment. Yon had a very good ult as well to stop 667 to hit him, so he didn't die. And then just with the lifesteal he has, he was able to sustain enough so he didn't go down.
Yeah, important here for Edelweiss to alleviate at least a little bit of that pressure, because like now with the comp that La Cité is running, they really can start opting into these 1-1-3 setups here. Put Arno and 667 into the side lanes. Sayarakan, they can stay quite safe and healthy, as Dolores might be having a bit of a bad time here. Does not even get to send the ram back. Arno also with a lot of sustain here, does still have the pull. That's a double kill here. Down onto the DC. They seal his fate. That's a bit of an irony here, because usually the sealed fate is reserved for Iona's ultimate, but in this time around it was the other way, and they are setting their sights onto the Baron. Certainly not lacking in terms of damage here between the Xayah, Vladimir and the Graves, and they should just be able to secure that without any big opposition coming out from Edelweiss, and extend their gold lead to nearly 7,000 gold.
Yeah, and it's getting more difficult for Edelweiss as well, because you said before it's a 1-3-1 composition where you can put Vladimir top. Now, especially with the Baron buff, you have a Vladimir top that is pushing, you have an Irelia bot that is pushing, and you don't really have a lot of members that can match them on the lane. So they always have to invest more players onto one lane, so the other lane can push and probably get a second tower as well.
Yeah, and also like at this point it becomes really hard to just facing them, because Yeah, they know they cannot really put the Ornn against the Vladimir anymore, because yeah, he is 6-1 and he's gigantically strong. Also working on that early Void Staff here coming out, which will make it even harder for the Ornn to ever match him, as now Fit is just flashing into the Dragon Pit here. They really want to take down that Dragon. Yeah, that was an interesting one. I mean, it's very brave. You can't do that these days because, like, the levels on the junglers, they do not matter anymore. The smites deal 900 damage no matter what once you completed that early jungle item quest. So, bit of a Hail Mary play there. Just potentially getting it out with a Dragon Soul, maybe, but it was optimistic.
Yeah, I mean, he had the lantern to get out of the pit again, so it was not like as kamikaze as you would expect. But now another pool. Theoloris is already going super low. Called Ornn, but sadly that was a bit too late. Now the DC might be in trouble of getting dove here, but Aurelia does not really have a wave to work with. So she's just going to have to wait for the next one. Oh, Arno with a very nice stopwatch, so Elix didn't hit his ultimate. And
flashing onto the Aphelios there, but does get taken down eventually. Now Finn though, being potentially caught between a rock and a hard place, but he does manage to limp out of there. The two of his teammates did go down. Baron buff is still onto quite a few of Lucity's members here, and they are pushing in on 3 waves, on 3 lanes simultaneously here. That will be top and potentially mid inhibitor down here for Lucity.
Oh, Rakan is...
Hold on though.
Okay, can always battle down south. But now Finn and the DC are looking to engage onto the Syra Khan duo, but they opt to just back away and take the safety. They have more than a 10k gold lead. At the moment it looks really rough. They invested 4 people top side to get down this Vladimir. They are able to do it, but well, yeah, at the cost of a top inhibitor. Bottom tower has fallen as well to the Aurelia, which gives her an additional 600 gold, so you really don't want that. Now we see again the fight in the top lane. Theoloris, he just gets super low and he just can't handle the damage anymore, even though he's super tanky. Now they go with a fight. The pillar hits Motomoto, but Motomoto is still quite tanky and has a lot of lifesteal. Elix is getting low very soon as well because of Arno, and Arno just one-pops him. He just dies in the back line.
That's just what the Vladimir will do to you as an AD carry. Also, really clutch stopwatch timing there by Arno, because if that Severum ultimate would have connected, he would have gotten a lot of healing. Motomoto now potentially being caught out here. There's the shutdown going over onto the Aphelios. Everyone's taunted up, but there's not really a follow-up. Double kill here coming out. And Arno finally joining the fight here, but it's already too little too late, as 2 of his team members did already go down. Yeah, Lucity overestimating their strength here a little bit by the looks of it, overstaying their welcome. And wow, I just realized, like, I knew 667's farm is like decent, but he's been farming up a storm here. 300 farm before the 26-minute mark. That's just insane. The guy is really, really fed right now, not just with those 2 early kills.
Now he has to be careful. He's 1v4 now. He's going straight onto Elix. Elix gets a lantern, so he's out. And now they play onto him, so he can't escape anymore. And Ornn takes the shutdown.
That's a caster curse if I've ever seen one, I guess.
Yeah, they are really pressuring now and try to end the game. I don't know if they're scared of the Aphelios actually getting to that scaling point, because now the ornaments are coming in as well. Here we see it again. Motomoto just is too far in and gets shred down quite fast by the Aphelios with the Severo. And the Aurelia ultimate misses. It goes completely wide, and now they're 3v5. They can't really fight this. Arno maybe could. I don't know how much of limit testing he wants to do there. Like, he's really strong on that Vladimir. So they have to be careful about that. But if they're isolated, they shouldn't, like... Oh yes, Arno again is isolated.
Everybody versus Arno here. as a Centaur there will go quite low.
Though. Now Finn is still wanting to go in against Motomoto. The DC now coming in as well. Theoloris on the run as well. Calls the horn, gets the airborne onto Kiso.
And Lusty once again here. There are just 3 members, just 2 of them coming back from base. As they're picking these fights over and over, quite confident here on the side of La Cité. But they do have a good amount of sustain on both their Graves as well as, of course, that Vladimir from Arno. They do take down that Dragon, get onto Soul Point. Now Finn will fall. The DC gets out of there just by the skin of his teeth.
Does he survive?
But,
no.
I have my serious doubts here. 6-6-7.
Oh, maybe with the Blast Cone he can outplay. No, okay, now it's getting difficult. Oh,
maybe. Does he
I
still
think
have
as
the
soon as
Fate Shield?
667 has the Q. Oh, we don't see it anymore.
He just tries to run.
Oh, actually, Yone gets away.
Yeah, he does.
667, yeah, he did not opt to chase. But now there are 4 people on the Nexus turrets. Elix goes down so low because of 1 cube Arno. And that's super difficult. He can't step up, so he just has to stay back. And they're just pre-hitting on the Nexus.
Killzone going in though. Zoning them away from the Nexus, and they, Motomoto and Hitokura, just being like, okay, never mind, we're just gonna focus on the Nexus, take down game number 1 here. So they're up 1-0 right now, and yeah, really solid performance here coming out from La Cité. Towards the end, it got really shaky for them. Them like taking 3v5s all over the place, and really starting to limit test a little too much, I'd argue. Some good comeback moments there potentially for Edelweiss Esports, but in the end, the comp from La Cité was just too strong. I mean, it's like pick your poison. What do you want flying your way? Is it the Graves that you can barely take down because you're full AD and he can just stack armor all the time with his quick draw and then also heals up a ton? Or do you want the super fat Irelia coming your way, or Arno on his Vladimir? And I mean, good luck catching out Zaya and Rakan. So really liking the draft here for La Cité, but Edelweiss Esports, they really made them work here.
Yeah, I think Edelweiss Esports, they really know how to play macro-wise, or would they see when someone is in a position they can punish. So they were doing quite well on punishing it towards the end, like, okay, there are only 3, let's try to get there. Or let's go in there because we know we can win these fights. But I feel like La Cité, they had more damage, whereas on Edelweiss you had the Yone and the Aphelios that were supposed to do damage, but Aphelios was just never allowed to hit.
Yeah.
And
also was bullied out quite early out of the game, and then when you also know in the back of your head, oh, by the way, there's also that super fat Vladimir that I can't really kill because he's like 4 levels higher and also has a Zodiac, and does half my HP bar with 1 Q, as we have a look here at the highlights again from this game. And yeah, Blake Cole is just putting in so much work, but this actually, what a hook into the flay here for Centauri, and then Flash after him to take him down. Fantastically done by the side of Edelweiss here. As a that's a
lot of damage from the Irelia, and I think that was the point where she just had the Mythic ready and Yone did not.
Yeah,
and here
this was big turning point here for La Cité. I felt that engage from Killzone onto 3 members here of Edelweiss, and then also Deloris teleporting in there, trying to save the day, but not being able to, and then them picking up 4 kills here for giving up that 1 tower right after getting the dragon there. And yeah, production or observers, why do we have to witness Ornn abuse here? That's just not nice. I actually felt bad because Theoloris, after like the 15-minute mark, he never got to cast his ultimate again.
Yeah,
like
it's really...
Either he was killed by Motomoto and Arno before he could reactivate it, or at one, like during that team fight in the bottom side jungle, he was actually stunned up and couldn't like send the ram back. So, bit of a sad ram there for the old Forge God.
Yeah, it was really difficult for him to play the game as well. Here's a nice hook onto Arno, but Arno always has his pull to just, yes, get away from all the damage. Then the stopwatch perfectly timed as well so Elix can't hit his ultimate. And yes, it's just Motomoto can pull out so much damage. Elix, he almost never can go forward because he's just getting two-shotted by almost every member of the other team. Now Motomoto here is just way too much forward. The DC misses completely with his ultimate, but they just have enough damage to kill Motomoto here.
And also, like, look at that, like the Graves, he was tanking up 4 members of Edelweiss right there, and he's a Graves. Just between his shield bow passive, the lifesteal that he has, and of course that armor coming out from his quick draws, he has so much sustain, and it becomes quite tanky actually into a full AD comp here that Edelweiss did opt in for. So in the end, they really had the advantage here coming out from draft, and also played to it, I gotta say, because then we have the advantage in the bottom lane, we'll always have priority there. Also the Irelia is absolutely fine into the Yone, can like out sustain him quite early, can trade him, can push in more aggressively usually than he can. So it's either we go for the dives in the bottom lane and like try to pressure them out of lane completely, or I just focus on the top side of the map and see that I can actually accelerate my Vladimir, who's already in a like decent matchup. He doesn't per se win it because he just barely has any kill pressure early, but he does have like this free laning phase, and then just him visiting that top lane over and over, and just making sure Arno gets giga fed and can really carry these mid and late game fights.
Yeah, I think Theoloris, he was just caught quite often being too far up in the lane. Then Motomoto just was able to punish him twice, and from then on he just couldn't 1v1 the Vladimir anymore. And then if you lose both side lanes, it gets really hard for a team to play the game.
I mean, it's not even Theoloris' fault. You know, he has to play it that way. Otherwise, he'll just... It's like you're destined to lose anyway in that matchup, because once the game hits 30 minutes, you're never going to be able to outmatch or outdamage Vladimir. And therefore, it's like, okay, either I really have to try my best and put him behind and, try and pressure him, or I just play safe, but then he will just eventually outscale me. So it's like kind of a lose-lose situation where, that just goes to show how good of a pick that Vladimir into the Ornn really was. But anyways, we're ready for our first break here of the night. Let's see whether Edelweiss can come back off right after the break, or whether Lassite can seal the deal here with another 2-0. But until then, we'll see you right after a quick break.
I fell apart when I saw you look at me that way. It broke my heart to see. It's too hard, it don't come easy. I went dark, I lost it right away. And when it starts, God knows what I'll say. In my head, I had good reason. I went red so unexpectedly. I should have said that sometimes happens to me. It was a moment of darkness, a moment in time that I regret for being so heartless. It was a moment of darkness.
Start your esports career now at play.eslgaming.com.
Mit dem Scheitel wäre es natürlich toll, wenn man den nicht vergisst zu machen, weil sonst ist es einfach nervig, wenn man jetzt...
Alice, kannst du mir helfen mit dem WLAN-Passwort?
Mom, geh doch einfach auf die My Swisscom App!
You ready? Huh? Hey, he's a good boy, huh? You ready? Huh?
Start your esports career now at play.eslgaming.com.
You love it, you wear it. What's your style? Get your merch at shop.eslgaming.com.
Et voilà, Internet ultra rapide.
Toujours pas.
Ah non. Ouais, allô? Ouais, écoutez, j'ai un souci familial. Ça marche pas.
What's your style? Get your merch at shop.eslgaming.com.
And welcome back here once again at Swisscom Hero League powered by ESL. We're ready here with some League of Legends action. My name is Don Rigoni and with me here is Safair, who just unfortunately had to witness the loss here of his beloved Edelweiss Esports. But I'm sure they're gonna get a nice pep talk during this break, right?
Yeah, I'm sure they will adjust stuff and they will know what to ban, maybe how to play differently a bit, because I think like they have the potential. Like, it's not like a huge skill gap. It's just was a bit like, oh, okay, they got out macroed, they got the lead top side, and then mid lane was also elite, and then they just had that 1-3-1 composition where otherwise they couldn't really do something against this because they just didn't have the comfort.
Yeah, I mean, they showed that they still have the potential and the composition here to get some nice catches there, and sometimes it's really enough if you get some of these shutdowns down onto your members and manage to claw your way back into the game that way. But this time around, it wasn't quite enough due to the heavy snowball that Lacite managed to accrue early on, and therefore they're now up 1-0 here over Edelweiss. Can seal the deal here with another win, but I'm sure Edelweiss will give them a run for their money here. As I expect a few adaptations to come out here, especially on the side of Edelweiss's draft here. I mean, we mentioned it during the last game a couple of times, them kind of opting for that 2-carry full AD comp was quite risky, and in the end didn't really pay off, especially with the sheer plethora of damage that Lacite had amongst their members. It's like every one of them can one-shot you at some point. It's like you have the Irelia chasing you down, you have the Graves who will just dash in your face and deal so much damage, or all in the meantime healing up and staying alive, because also barely anyone can outrange him, and that's not often you can say that about the Graves. And then also like just to make sure, behind them they also have a Rakan for a great engage and a Saya, who will just shred through everybody. So I hope we see a bit of a change up here for Edelweiss? What's like something you'd like to see come out from them?
I would like to see actually an adaptation in the bot lane, maybe something a bit more explosive, maybe something that has a bit more range as well, because Aphelios can have a lot of range with the right weapons, but if he has the wrong one, he doesn't really have this range. Also, maybe a different mid laner instead of a Yone, because like if you have Yone and an Aphelios, as you mentioned before, it's full AD comp. You have two members that should do all of the damage, but they can't even go in, because as soon as they go in or as soon as they're touched, they're almost getting two-shotted. So it's really difficult for them to play. So I would love to see something that has maybe a bit more poke before the team fight even starts. Maybe something that is a bit more safe. And yeah, we will see the adaptations now in the draft.
Yeah, I can really see them opting for also maybe something like the we talked a bit during the break, maybe something like the cannon up in the top lane if you decide to run that AD mid laner, or also something like either the Thresh but also or also picking away the Rakan, for example, and pairing it up with something like the Tristana. I could really see them do here on the side of Edelweiss, which enables them with not just a lot more pressure in the early game, but also like a more smooth transitioning throughout these mid-game fights if they are opting for like this big team fight composition again.
Yeah, we already see a Leblanc and Xin Zhao ban, also Vladimir ban now coming in. They really respect ban this in the top lane, so they've seen what he's able to do without Vladimir, and they really don't want that to be there anymore. Shen also respect ban towards the Aloris because he has that utility he can provide and is also very dominant in the lane. So they just want to get that out of the way. But actually I see something they could go for. I see a Caitlyn Swain bot lane, because Centauri is really well on that Swain, which would fix the full AD comp, so they would have an AP support.
Yeah.
Plus the Caitlyn that would outrange most of the champions, so she is relatively safe and can do a lot of damage as well. But now we see a Rek'Sai ban and an Aphelios ban, so they do respect the Aphelios. They target ban it out right now, and we see a first pick of Viego.
Interesting choice here come out from Edelweiss. Also making sure they do not like give away everything. Like I was quite surprised. Also yesterday we saw a lot of the bot lanes being locked in early. It's something that we usually don't always see. Like or a lot of like flex picks usually enjoy quite a bit of priority. Also this Viego here can of course be played either in the jungle but also in the top or mid lane still, as Lassite this time around is opting again for that Saya Rakan duo here, this time doing me the favor and lining up that artwork properly. That's how it should be, you know?
Yeah, but never change your running system, right? They had a very good bot lane last time around. They almost got the first kill onto onto Edelweiss, but with a perfect hook from Centauri, they got killed. But yeah, now we see a Poppy coming out from Theoloris. Actually, he was at one point one of the best Poppies EU. So maybe this is a bit of a pop-off champion for him.
Yeah.
However, locking that in now, he might get counter-picked. What would you say would be a counter-pick for against Poppy in the top lane?
Well, even if she's counter-picked, she's still such a fantastic answer, especially into the Rakan here, because if Rakan dashes in, well, she can prevent him from entering in the first place, but secondly, and in my opinion even more importantly, make him prevent from escaping. So if he ever dashes in with that grand entrance, she can just put up her W, and then he cannot battle dance out of there and is just stuck. And once that Rakan is gone, they lack a significant amount of their engage. So but I could just see something like, for example, I'm still gonna mention it again, like the cannon would be a fantastic answer into it here, but it might just be that Gwen up in the top lane, which is a bit of an odd choice here, because also that one gets like a bit denied by the steadfast presence, and but maybe it's also a Gwen in the jungle. That could of course still be.
Yeah, Grand Jungle can be played. I've not seen it often in pro play or anywhere, but I know someone that really likes to play jungle. But yes, it is a possibility, and I think Gwen has a lot of power in the team fights with the needlework, with the sustain, with the true damage, and I think can work out very well against this Poppy as well. Poppy actually, a funny thought, could be played as well in the support role.
Could be, yeah.
And in the jungle. So theoretically you could change that, but as we know, Theolores really likes to play Poppy and is really good on it. I really think this is going to go top lane. Now Braum and Thresh ban from La Cité, and the Aurelia and Graves ban from Edelweiss, so they get away, I think, 3 out of 5 bans, they banned the champions they've picked before.
True. Interesting here that they actually decide to ban both the Braum and the Thresh, but not the Leona, who is like the usual, the natural answer oftentimes into the Rakan, because you can just turn around and stun him up with the Shield of Daybreak, and that's gonna be the Echo here being picked up for the side of La Cité. I expect that one to go into the jungle actually, so it's most likely gonna be the Gwen top lane, even though we've also seen that being played in the mid, looking at you, Faker. But like she just also got a little bit of a buff, I think, or will get a little bit of a buff, as there's the set now locked in. Probably the support choice here for Edelweiss, and I'm personally quite a bit of a set aficionado, I might say. So I always like to see the boss himself in a game. As La Cité here saving that last counter pick here once again for themselves, as they're awaiting the final choice here, and that's gonna be a Hecarim. The pony, we haven't really seen it much ever since he kind of got murdered by the balance team.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen it a lot, but I think if he gets accelerated, if he can establish a lead in some way, he can work out really well and snowball a game insanely fast. But I'm a bit like...
Okay, that's gonna be the Vayne mid lane?
I think... Lane? Wait, okay, well basically Vayne... Can you play Vayne mid?
Yeah, you can. I mean it's either Viego or Poppy, so it doesn't really matter. Both of those are melee, and the Vayne does have the advantage, and it looks like it is actually the... Okay, hold on. What are we switching here? Okay, it appears to be the Poppy support here for Edelweiss, and they're sending both the Viego and the Set into those solo lanes. In the meantime, L667 seems to be picking up the Vayne here for the mid lane. Oh my gosh, it looked like such a casual draft, you know, and then they were like, okay, screw the playbook. We're just gonna get a Poppy support. We're just gonna put a Vayne in mid and also show us what an Echo jungle here might be capable of, ever since the buffs to his passives were essentially said, okay, you've dominated the entire jungle meta for like 3 seasons. Here, we're gonna put you back in the jungle. Have fun.
I think Echo can be really strong. I've seen him in solo queues as well. Whenever I play against him, it's really difficult because he always destroys my jungler. So yes, let's see how this Echo is gonna work out. But again, I feel like there is not a lot of AP damage on the Edelweiss side. There is, I think, some on Hecarim and Ezreal.
Oh, yeah,
but
once again,
it's not really a lot. And yes, I hope they can somehow get down this Gwen, especially with all of the sustain she has, and if she has the mist, so Ezreal can't even hit her. I'm curious how this is going to work out. And as well, Vayne, I think La Cité, they have drafted themselves for 5 champions, basically, that are really scary. So
once again, it's like their game plan is just like, okay, we just make sure that if somebody of us ints, we still have plenty of damage to still kill them. So the only thing we have to do is not fall behind. And I think with the matchups they gotten themselves into here, it's actually not looking too bad here. I mean, in the bottom lane, they just have an advantage here straight up. I mean, I don't want to underestimate Centauri here on the Poppy. She potentially can counter some of Kyozome's engages here pretty well, potentially. But if they just execute patience here a little bit. And yeah, don't like overestimate the amounts of pressure they can exert on that Sire Rakan duo. I expect them to do quite well. And then, I mean, in the mid lane, the Vayne just has a great time into a melee matchup, even though Viego is a 2021 champion, so there's always that factor, you know. And but also, like, in the top lane, the Gwen here against Dioloris, if she gets going and like running that teleport ignite combination, that can happen quite fast. She's really like the queen of those extended trades, and Zed oftentimes wants to like avoid these. He wants to go in there, hit you with his fists, stun you up, maybe hit you a little more, and then pop that W, and then he wants to run away. In the meantime, so Gwen is basically unrelenting, just wants to snippity snip you up, as we're heading onto Summoner's Rift here this time with our beautiful shot here. Thank you, observers, very much. I get so excited when there's like the highlight on the cup there on the side, even though it's not the full-on Summoner's Cup currently. But yeah, heading into Worlds is always an exciting time to be alive. My kind of favorite time of the year personally, when we go towards Worlds. As yeah, welcome to the Rift here, everybody. Losite is currently up 1-0 over Edelweiss Esports, but Edelweiss, they want to come back into this.
I really like the duck just chilling in the river, and there's like all action around her with team fights and the drake spawning, but she's just like, oh well.
Yeah,
I'm a little duck. I'll just chill here.
we dubbed him Wooly in the past.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in the Swisscom here league, we like to call him Wooly, and you know what? Like Wooly, he does not give a shit. He's like he's a badass. You know, he's there. He do be chilling, and yeah, he strives when he sees blood and mayhem around him.
Again, the early ward drop here in the bot lane. They're looking maybe to cheese a bit out on this Poppy Ezreal if they step up too far early. But as I know, Ezreal is quite of a safe AD carry, so I think he just wants to scale until like this 2-3 item power spike, where he then really is activated and can dish out a lot of damage.
Yeah, also no Finn here. Look at this. I'm actually quite curious whether he will be opting for like an AD build on the Hecarim, because that one these days is has been made a lot better rather than the tank build we saw from him a lot in the beginning of the season, where he was so oppressive. And yeah, he also running not just the Ghost but also the Predator, so that's gonna be a pretty fast pony.
Yeah, and that's like damage is going to only increase. Actually, already a very early engage. The early level 2 from Hitokuro and Kisome, they really want to go in there, so they have to be careful. Blade Caller does miss, so there's no roots to be engaging on. But I think it's already a very aggressive bot lane again, but I think Ezreal early does not feel as strong, especially if you have a minion wave there where you can't just poke through. Like the Mystic shots, they're just gonna hit the minions and not really the desired target. So it's just difficult to do these early trades as an Ezreal.
Yeah, and there also you can see how fast the Hecarim still is able to clear here. Has already cleared the full side of his jungle there. Well, actually decided not to opt for the full clear, leaving his Crux up, as he's potentially looking for some early action onto 667 here.
Oh, pops Ghost and nice, pops a very nice stun, and this should be the first blood picked up by Naufin. That's very good macro from them. They punish the Vayne that has to push early on. Ooh, now actually in the top lane as well. Theoloris gets engaged on by Arno, but Theoloris has just so much damage available to himself. Gets Arno to around 100 HP, yeah, and Arno has to back away here.
Trying to reset the mist here in order to reset or to avoid the damage there from the Haymaker, but is like half a second too late there on that one. But also in the middle, 667, like really not respecting Naufin there. Could have just flashed over the Hecarim and make him push himself to safety, but wanted to try to like potentially turn it around, or just wasn't aware that the Hecarim is coming in. You can see it here. He tries to go for the condemn, but that like it only knocks him back, but it doesn't stop him. Yeah, still cause him to be knocked back, and then the DC is there with the follow-up stun, and they managed to take down the Vayne early.
Yeah, that's very good for Eloise. If they get down the Vayne early, she doesn't have that much of a free lane. She can't poke too much, but here maybe Moto is going onto the Aloris, onto Naufin actually, and Naufin has the smite, so he's still full life, but the Aloris going aggressive onto Arno. He has the miss to just escape. Naufin now chasing onto Moto, but 667 is here to get some damage done. But I think this mid lane jungle duo is looking much better in this game. Bot lane's coming up as well. Centaura and Elix are going onto Itakura, but Itakura with the Blade Caller is just getting so much damage done. Elix now a bit in trouble. Moto is there as well, but nice stun. And Moto is going down. Now Naufin going on a journey. The DC is now an Echo, goes in, but Itakura is just so good at going back, kiting back, and the bot lane survives, but they are missing out on the Echo who died.
Yeah, they do manage to take him down. It was a good stun there actually coming out from Moto, but he did go quite low due to that earlier trade against Naufin. And yeah, when the DC on his Viego manages to get that first reset, it becomes so hard for Lacite to keep on fighting just due to that regen here from the Viego, and that was without his ultimate there. But I also like the Oloris here in the top lane opting for that Executioners early. Oh, unlucky there with the knockback onto attempt onto Hitakuro, not managing to take him down. Hitakuro doing a great job of just spacing out here between the enemies here and making sure he does stay safe over the course of that entire fight, and then even getting some nice damage back there. Did have to expend both of his summoners though, and now the DC did hit level 6 and is now aggressively looking for Moto.
Yeah, now it's getting difficult for Moto because Naufin, he has already 2 kills, he has a Sheen, a longsword, and he is looking to go aggressive anywhere where he can. And yeah, Hecarim is very fast around the map, so he can run around and try to get some ganks off here and there, whereas Moto, he has to be ready and respect Naufin here. Centaur is right behind him, so what is he doing in the topside jungle? Naufin is looking to steal away this red buff smites to secure it. Arno is here to back his jungler up, but the red buff is already gone. Now, she's here as well, 669, but Naufin should be out here, so that's not... Oh, the DC actually looking onto 669, who does not have flash anymore. Naufin is coming in as well with a Q, and they just execute 667.
In the meantime, though, on the bottom side of the map, Hitakuro and Kyozo managed to take out Elix on the Ezreal, who was left all on his lonesome down there. And now Kyozo is looking to hold that wave here in the middle for his mid laner, who just went down again. The Vayne, I mean, he had quite a significant farm advantage, but is not looking too hot right now. Also, a lot of attention being put onto that Vayne here, of course, and
Haymaker!
Oh, wow! Straight into the face. Does stop the show there. Theo Loris with the dunk down onto Arno, who cannot hold up against such a beautiful champion here. That is the Zed with that Haymaker right to the face. It looked quite good, like the needlework there being popped, and then Arno really trying to finish the job there, but Theoloris responding perfectly there. Also the Executioners there coming in really handy, as it actually wasn't even Kyozo, it was just a straight up solo kill here for Hitakuro.
He didn't respect the Blade Caller route, so he was just a bit too overextended. Saya does a lot of damage, and especially when you don't respect the route and think, okay, I can just walk away safely. No, you cannot. You just get rooted in place, and she kills you. So that is a really well played solo kill by Hitakura, but as well in Theoloris in the top lane. like, he played it almost perfectly because he really respected the sustain coming through from Arno with a snip, but he chain CC'd him with a showstopper into a face breaker, into the haymaker, and just executes him with a true damage. Now Centauri is here as well. Gets the stun.
And yeah, the DC there just gets to finish him off with the Heartbreaker. Centauri claiming the kill there thanks to the Ignite. But the DC here claiming yet another assist actually to his name. And yeah, man, now he's looking quite comfy in that mid lane here as Motomot is looking for a kill here on
but
the
Centauri
Theoloris.
and Naufin are on the way, so they have to be careful. Theoloris, nice haymaker. Good, huge amount of damage. Naufin with the ult now going in as well. Motomoto is fleeing. So he already used his ult, so he can't get away here. And it's a double kill for the pony. I think he's 5-0 already. A 500 gold bounty on his head. And I think this Hecarim, be careful whenever you see him.
Yeah, definitely so. Also see him opt for what looks like the Divine Sunderer this game around. So there we can see that one again. Knock him up, slam him down, and then very well done there, pulling him back, making sure that haymaker does connect right to the forehead, and yeah, gets a beautiful kill. Thank you very much, observers.
They also secure themselves the first Herald, and yes, they are looking to accelerate this gold lead. They're
actually just using it in the top lane
three-man
here.
top. Yes, maybe they're looking for a dive. There is no wave here yet. So Arno tries to escape this with it challenging the basing here, but Naufin just goes in. Arno does try to get the kill onto Theoloris. Theoloris did not have the haymaker to get the shield. Naufin is just executing him though, because he's just a super fat pony with a lot of damage already.
A 6-0 pony at this point, but I mean, for Arno, getting a kill back in a 3v1 here. But now Naufin will get even more fed, especially if he decides to pop that Herald there in the top lane, and he will. That will be first tower down here and solo gold over to Naufin here. Can we get a quick look here at the individual gold?
Did you see the gold that was going over?
Yeah, look at this. It's 3k difference in the jungle. 3,000 gold.
Oh, that's an engage onto the DC. Very nicely done by Kyozome. Pops the quickness, gets the flash right onto the DC. Then Solo chain CCs him with a knockup, and there's just no way he could go. Theoloris should be able to catch this wave here. 667 is not on full health, so he has to be careful, but Rakan is still here. Ooh, that's a showstopper into tower range. But he does not get tower aggro because he did not touch Theoloris. Now he has to be careful. Oh my god! That's a lot of true damage onto 667, who walks right into the middle. Now he has to really respect it.
I just saw the meme in my head where the guy like measures out, takes out like the measuring time and is like, that's a lot of damage. Because it really is. And yeah, I mean, could have looked even different with the set having a level 2 ultimate there. But yeah, the DC here overstepping his welcome there a little bit. Kyozome is right there to help his mid laner out and make sure that Vayne for once does not die again here. But now Finn really putting on the clinic.
Very nice stun into the wall, but Hitoko still has his ultimate to get away safely. But very nice flash stun into the wall.
Oh, look at this though.
Onto Theoloris, but still has the haymaker available. What damage is insane. They get Motomoto. Centauri now pushes back Hitokoris. Naufin just executes the Saya in the backline. Theoloris has to be careful. Arno is here now with snip. That's not as insane damage. Arno gets the execute.
Arno though.
Centauri is very low as well. Now, so is
Arno
Naufin.
though.
Arno does not have his ultimate available. Elix should be able to grab this kill. Does he?
Okay,
yes,
finally takes it down. Yeah, how long Arno stayed alive there? That's just some Gwen action there for you. If she gets to pop that Conqueror, she can't stay alive for such a long time with all the healing. Unfortunately, did not manage to...
Very nice stun by the DC.
Okay, and now Condemn is also out here for 667. Be careful here, because the DC does have the Heartbreaker.
667 used his ult, so he's probably looking to chase the DC back. Now the DC maybe
Flash oh my gosh, that
into
flash.
the Vayne, but Vayne just jumped away and outplayed him.
Bit of a flex going back and forth here. 667 chasing him down to DC, realizing, okay, final hour plus the Vayne passive. That's not really something you can just run away from. And then trying to take him down there, but a beautiful tumble will get out of range there. And look at this action here once again. Hitokuro does get stunned up and also tagged there by the Ezreal ulti.
This damage.
Look at that. Will it be that looks mathematically correct to me? And now Finir just running in, picking up the kill. Look at Arno now. He's exhausted, you know. He could have waited with that Q there, and yeah, then this tries to run down Centauri here. Kyozome scumbag picking up the kill here away from the Gwen, meaning he's only 2 and 4 right now. But Edelweiss securing themselves another dragon here, meaning they once again here are in the lead when it comes to stacking these dragons. But this time around, they also have the gold advantage here. 3k to their name. Most of it, of course, being concentrated on the Hecarim here.
He jumps in and thinks he's alone there, but oh, the DC,
Buddy,
what
I got bad
happened?
news for you. There is a Gwen and a Rakan in the bush just waiting for you, and that area was not warded for them, or rather they made sure that he'll not know.
On the other side of the map though, Elix securing himself a kill as well. I think Naufin was like, okay, you can have a bit of the pie as well, take that piece. So Elix, he's 2 and 1 on the Ezreal, that's really good. But I think mid lane, the DC, I think he's quite strong because Vayne died a lot of died quite often, but this gold is all on Naufin, so he has to be a bit more careful. He is not as fed as he's thinking. Naufin now going in aggressive on Hitokuro. He still has his ult. He has to call it now. Maybe with a nice place caller, but
yeah. And yeah, there is just no way. As an 80 carry against the 9-0 Hecarim jungle, there's just nothing you're going to be doing. And
okay, no, he did not have his ult. Maybe if he had ult, I think he would have followed that and tried to get the kill onto the Echo, no matter who's in that jungle. But we see the kill in the bot lane is a very nice knockback. They get him super low with like within seconds, and then they just secure the kill because Naufin, he is tanky. He has super much damage, and he had an Ezreal behind him. So very well played by them. Now they'll secure themselves the second Herald. Naufin takes that goal for himself as well. So he is very ahead, and now he needs to get that gold as well onto his teammates. Now Arno's quite far up, but I have to be careful.
Sure about that, Centauri?
Rakan is here as well, but it's a very nice W by Centauri to stop that engage from Kyozome. So nothing too much happening there.
Yeah, but I mean, we can see.
Oh,
here,
actually,
Arno
667 is in trouble. The DC gets a stun. Naufin is coming in as well. What?
That's kind of the thing here. I mean, Lucidity, they did opt in for like a full damage comp again, but if like a bruiser comes your way and is ahead,
he does not have his ult, and that's the showstopper,
I guess. And
oh, they're going for it. But this is
oh, quickness there though, coming down here onto Naufin. Naufin potentially overstepping here. Kyozome does stay alive. What did that man have for breakfast?
Oh, but Arno with the needlework does an insane amount of damage. They have to be careful. Naufin's just running over him. No problem.
Okay, never mind.
And the DC gets Moto
like,
in the back lane.
They can get something back, but Naufin is like, nah, okay, we're good, we're good. He heals up a little bit there off the Divine Sunder. Also, does already have the Sterak's cage here completed for himself, and yeah, it's just incredibly fed at this point. Meanwhile, Moto.
Oh, they're going on to this Vayne. Naufin is just standing there.
Well,
like, hello, Vayne.
Why, hello there. 667, you're a bold one.
Oh, no. Actually, it's good damage onto the two Edelweiss members there by Hitokuro. Hitokuro is not as far behind as you'd expect.
No, Hitokuro and Arno are like the last bastion standing here for La Cité and really have to give it their all here in order to keep their team in the game. Still, everyone looking at that juicy 700 gold shutdown here on that fat pony. But so far they haven't been successful in taking him down.
Way too far up in the way too far up in the enemy jungle there. I think they saw that Naufin base. Oh no, Naufin didn't base, but they saw them in a ward. And they saw Centauri is super alone there. Let's try to engage onto him. And they get the kill, so that relieves a bit of pressure for them and gets them a bit of momentum. The DC has to be careful. Arco does a lot of damage with that snip, and he has the needlework available as well, so...
Could just be looking at a dive here potentially, but they do not have vision onto the Hecarim and do respect that. In the meantime, La Cité managing to take down the middle.
Showstopper. Okay. Oh, Naufin, look at the speed! He's just going on Titakura, but he has the ult. Now fleeing as well. Ooh, what? That does not do a lot of damage. And
well, what do you consider a lot of damage? I mean, what do you want, man? Does he have to should he be able to one-shot both of them? Like,
oh, Arno might. Okay, no, I don't think they know that he's here.
Look at this, nearly 11k gold onto the hacker. He nearly has double the gold here of Moto. That's just absolutely insane, and they will also secure themselves an Infernal Dragon, putting them onto soul point here, meaning around 25-20 will be when that Infernal Soul will be up for grabs here.
Oh, that's a base breaker onto 667, and that's just one more punch into the face, and 667 once again too far up in the lane and just gets taken down.
7 at this point, really not looking too hot here for him. And now Finn at this point he's like, nah, I'm not a jungler anymore. I'm gonna go to the side lanes now and push in here, match up against Arno here of all people, who is actually doing a good job so far of just keeping up the pressure in the side waves here, picking up all the farm that he can get, making sure that he does get to scale a little bit here. I mean, once he gets to...
Elik's already very activated as well. He has the Divine Sunder, he has the Mana Muna fully stacked, so he does a lot of damage, and they have to be careful about this.
Yeah, and their second item now coming in though for Arno, that Sonia's Hourglass will help him out a ton here actually into that full AD comp here on the side of Edelweiss. But now Finn's aggressively posing forward. Once again, he might just go down here. Finally, now Finn overstaying his welcome. Shot down onto Hitokuro of all people. Ah, that's not the one who you want to turn you into a juicy piece of horse lasagna there. But Hitokuro will be very happy to pick up that kill, and now La Cité is setting their sights onto the Baron here, and I don't really think Edelweiss can contest this because all of their eggs basically...
actually maybe they can now. Centauri just shoots 2 of them away, but Centauri's getting super low. It just denies them the Baron because Naufin is up in 6 seconds and maybe can run here with his movement speed, and Theoloris is very quite huge, but if he's just standing there tanking up him as 5 people. Leak's now being in trouble, flashes away from the knock-up, but now he has to be careful. Arno with the needlework. The DC in the backline just gets Rakan. Now he's chasing Moto on the Echo. That's a stun, that's a kill.
Resets and now going.
A reset onto with the Echo, but I think Echo is not as strong. He turns back into
Great
gets
stun there though.
Now Arno just
God, Arno!
Now Finn is here! Now Finn is here to save the day. Maybe Elix gets the kill onto the Gwen. Now Itakura is a bit in trouble. The blast going, both of them are in the base, but now Finn...
there's the ace now coming in for Edelweiss. Quite delayed, but they do manage to get it. But overall here, I still have to give the advantage over to La Cité probably because they managed to claim so many shutdowns during that fight. Beautiful ultimate here by Centauri, knocking both Hitokura and Moto out of the Baron pit there, making sure they got more or less an even footing. And then Theoloris here though overstepping his welcome too, does not get the haymaker out, but the DC here turning it around beautifully, going into stealth and then getting the kill onto Kyozome, chasing down Moto who does have to invest the flash. And then also a really nice stun here down onto Arno, nearly managing to take him around. But he forgot that Gwen was created in 2021 and therefore has managed to turn that one around.
Very nice position here by Naufin as well. He just positions himself perfectly on that blast cone, so both of them will jump into the base and he's not alone outside.
I actually assumed that Edelweiss would just be picking up the Baron here after that ace, but they actually did not. Baron still left standing here, probably them wanting to make sure they rather fight for the Dragon Soul here down in the bottom side of the map. As, yeah, like... This, after that series of plays, Lassiter managing to closing the gold gap to around 4,000 gold here currently, and Arno especially having, I mean, doesn't have the most shiny stats, but it's like that's where you want your Gwen to be, as Theo Loris gets onto 667, and I just wanted to praise them here for potentially coming back into the game, as Theo Loris just ends their hopes and dreams, and Naufin is now trying to run down Kyozome, and the Baron here will surely be going over to the side of Edelweiss. Only 10 more seconds for that last dragon here to spawn. They will also be picking up the Dragon Soul here for themselves. Never mind my attempt here to analyze anything. Not the best idea here, probably, to attempt the Baron. 667 being completely caught off guard, and that and
the haymaker by Loris again, just so much damage.
Just that's like, see, that's like what happens when your bruisers are not completely behind and the opposing team is comprised entirely out of squishies. Then that onslaught, that shadow onslaught here from Naufin and Theo Loris with the haymaker there will just wreak havoc.
I think they did a good job so far. Now they Naufin actually made it possible that Ezreal is on 6-1 and 11 now. Yeah. So it's not only Naufin that you have to be careful about, it's also Elix that has a ton of damage. Theo Loris, if he has the haymaker positioned perfectly with the true damage, but 667 might get caught out by Centauri here. That's a stun. I don't know, Centauri, does he have this damage for him? I mean, okay, Ignite is out. Elix sniped from downtown.
But Elix does have the aim. And the True Shot Barrage will seal the deal here, Centauri, making sure that 667 can barely move an inch, giving him that 10th death of the game. And he's opting now for a Bramble West onto that vein.
Arno going aggressive, investing the needlework as well, but DC is just able to get out with that Spectral Maw. Now Centaurus is bouncing around here with a blast cone. They siege onto this top tower. That's a good route onto Theoloris, but he does not get tower aggro, and they have Baron empowered minions inside of the base. There are 4 here, and Gwen is still bot, which could absorb a lot of that pressure, but they have to be careful. Naufin is now going very aggressively. The quickness is being popped by Kyozome, but he does not hit anyone with it, so that is an important ultimate being down, so maybe they can extend this siege into the mid lane now.
Yeah, Hecarim's ulti is still up and available though, as Arno is finally looking for that recall, and they actually got away with just having to give up that top inhibitor so far on the side of Lassiter, even though there's a 10k gold lead currently. Baron buff still live, never mind, there's the TP here to make sure they are also taking down that mid inhibitor tower there.
Actually,
and now it's time for Naufin. Arno there gets feared, gets pulled back, and now it's Theo Loris time to shine here. They just murdered them in broad daylight, and with that I think Edelweiss will just be closing out the game here. Naufin toying a little bit with 667 at this point. They knock him off, push him back once again here, making sure he knows where his place is. It's in the grave. Gray screen simulator here once again for 667, and Edelweiss tying up the score 1-1.
What a match, honestly. What a match by Naufin as well. We said at the start, Hecarim, very good at snowballing in a game. And he did. He did snowball.
Pony go brr.
Yeah, Pony go insane. And he was 8-0 at one point. Then he was able to also accelerate his teammates. Set always was very strong side in that top side against the Gwen. And I think actually the support roams from Centauri, they were pretty nice as well. They were he was able to catch out 667 quite often, and 667 just disrespecting quite often, being too far up. So I think it was just really well played by Edelweiss, especially that fight around Baron, where they thought, okay, I think Lasite thought they would go for the Drake's Soul, but Edelweiss actually was coming to the Baron with them and trapped them. So yes, what a game.
Yeah, also like we could really see here in the first game, like it was a big strength for Lasite that they had so much damage across their team because they got the ball rolling so early and made sure they like prioritize properly on the map. But this time around, with Naufin dictating the pace of the game and getting so ahead, it became so hard. And then also Theo Loris accruing quite the lead over time. It just became like impossible to match up against all of these bruisers.
And look at the replay here, the insane showstopper. What? You just see the fist from the Haymaker out so nicely done by the observers there. And now here I think they did overextend a bit. Oh no, that is just where they just get the... Oh, was it here? I'm not quite sure anymore. But they're like, you already...
Another Haymaker. Haymaker simulator. But like, I especially in hindsight now, I love the set pick here into such a damage-heavy comp, because a lot of damage means that your W or like your grid gets charged up so fast, and therefore your Haymaker will just wreak havoc completely. And like the only potentially saving grace here for Lasite was really Arno on that Gwen, but he never really got in there. Also, largely due to Naufin on his Hecarim being so strong.
Oh, look at the movements here from 667. That was super nice. For, avoiding the stun here. Yeah. That's a flash stun. It was really well played by DC, but the ult misses. 667 just able to kite around it. And here I think, what do we see here? Hitakura is just a bit, tries to get a ward. Theoloris gets a nice base breaker, and I think they... Oh yeah, that's a showstopper right onto the head, and Elix poking with some mystic shots as well.
Here you can see, like the bruisers just going for the dives at this point.
Yeah, they're so tanky, they don't take that much damage. Elix has a lot of damage. Sadly, the ultimate misses the Rakan. There are no here. Like, the sustain is insane. I think Theoloris is he dying? No, he's not dying. He's just surviving for so long, especially with a passive as well, where he regens quite a lot of health.
I think that's like the most BS thing about Zed. Like, I absolutely love Zed, I adore him, but that passive is so frustrating, because you get him low, he like gets the shield from the Haymaker, he like splits the skulls of 2 of your team members, and then he just regens back up to like a 3rd HP, and you're like, what the hell?
Yeah, here I think Theoloris, he was overextended a bit. I think he thought that he could tank up a bit more damage, but tanking up 5 people. But the DC made a really well play here, got 2 resets, and now fighting Arno, but the sustain by Arno is just insane. He gets a very nice stun though, but Arno here, the true damage is just coming in.
I was just like waiting. When's the pony coming? When's the pony coming? You're like just running in there. It's like, okay, gotta get there.
Oh, and just the ult, it's so much damage. And as an AD carry, if you're facing up against the Hecarim like this, and here I think Theoloris, very nice, gets a pick on 667, just showstops immediately him into his team, and then Naufin just runs over everyone.
Untouched here. He just runs in the middle of everybody, smashes their heads together, and pops off a huge Haymaker.
Elix, actually, I think this is already a late game. Oh, that's a snipe from downtown on to 667. And Centauri, actually very well done by him to set up this play. And here we just
in the first moments, you always feel like, okay, there's a potential here for Lasite to come back, and then it's like Naufin and
the Haymaker from Theoloris.
Theoloris going forward, and then it's just over, you know.
But I think it's also like, it was a good draft. Not gonna lie. I think Edelweiss had a bit of the advantage in the draft, because Lasite, again, very damage heavy, but I think Arno, like, he was playing very good, but he also was the only front line, and everybody really was able to target him. So with this much damage, yes, even a Gwen, she was able to pop off sometimes, but yes, I think
enough. It was
overall
not enough.
the Allures, and especially Knifin with the speed, they just run past this Gwen and demolish your backline.
Yeah, I got like the feeling during that game, you know. I think you didn't play League back then when they first released Earth mode.
Oh yes, actually, I know Earth mode though, yeah.
Okay, yeah, but when they first released it, like Hecarim was the most broken shit ever, you know, because he could just like permanently spin his Q.
Oh
and
yeah.
And there was like the meme: you have to ban Hecarim, or you have to look at the windmill. And yeah, they really had to look at it and got overrun by the pony, giving me a little bit of flashbacks to earlier in Season 1. But enough about the past. We want to focus on the future, but between us and the next and deciding game here between La Cité and Edelweiss, there lies another quick break here. Make sure you rehydrate properly, get some snacks here, because this time we're gonna go the full distance, and we'll be right back here with game number 3.
Start your esports career now at play.eslgaming.com.
Mit dem Scheitel wäre es natürlich toll, wenn man den nicht vergisst zu machen, weil sonst ist es einfach nervig, wenn man jetzt...
Kannst du mir helfen mit dem WLAN-Passwort?
Mom, geh doch einfach auf die My Swisscom App!
You ready? Huh? Hey, boy, easy boy, huh? You ready? Huh?
Start your esports career now at play.eslgaming.com.
You love it, you wear it. What's your style? Get your merch at shop.eslgaming.com.
Et voilà, Internet ultra rapide.
Toujours pas.
Ah non. Ouais, allô? Ouais, écoutez, j'ai un souci familial. Ça marche pas.
What's your style? Get your merch at shop.eslgaming.com.
And welcome back here once again to the Swisscom Hero League, powered by ESL, with another night with League of Legends, and of course with your two clown monkeys, in myself being Don Rigoni and my dear friend here in Safair. You look happier. You look a lot more relieved after that second game.
I mean, I'm super happy. Actually, we go into game 3. We go the full distance today. Yesterday was a 2-0, so nothing too much there. But today, game 3, everything is on the line now. We see how the players can act under pressure. So, yes, it's going to be a very, very interesting game to see. And I'm curious how they'll adapt to drafts.
I love that we just put match point on both sides of the standings here, as it's currently 1-1 between Edelweiss and La Cité here. Yeah, so far it looked like in the first game, I mean, the La Cité just hands down had the better draft, and were like able to get snowballing and in the end also like capitalize on that lead. In game 2, like much different story here. Edelweiss seemed a lot more prepared. Of course, it really helped that Naufin got rolling early on that Hecarim and was able to put everybody on his back there a bit. But like overall, you just could feel that they're more in control. That they didn't get like. Sometimes it can really be detrimental to your your mental game after such a loss. But seeing how well they were able to recuperate and like refocus, go into game number 2 and come out swinging. And yeah, I mean they didn't give them an inch. They were really they had great team fights. They were capitalizing on the opportunities. They had great objective control. I think La Cité in that second game, they didn't get a single objective, barring maybe like 2 scuttle crabs. But but like that's it. Like all the 1 Baron taken, 4 dragons picked up, and also both the Rift Heralds going into the pocket of Edelweiss, and they just seemed in control throughout that game. And yeah, just fantastically done here by like the young blood here in the league. So I'm quite looking forward to game number 3 here. And the question now is like, can La Cité come back in the same fashion? Because that was quite a dominating loss here. Also, we talked a bit during the break. The Vayne pick didn't really work out there, to say the very least. But I especially liked the way that Edelweiss approached the draft. Like they kept themselves flexible. They kept on their toes. Like they knew, okay, we kind of lock in that Viego early. We can like triple flex that one around. We got the Ezreal up who does decently into even a Saya Rakan. He can still farm safely and is not under too much threat. Like barring that one solo kill Hitokuro got against him. But then also like locking in the Poppy, making them think, okay, this will be a Poppy like going to the top lane because Theo Loris plays that one a lot. and then like also there flexing it around all the way, making sure they did not know until the very end what they're gonna be locking in, and then swapping everything around. Lassite thinking, okay, it's all melee champions here. Let's lock in that Vayne for the mid lane. Didn't quite work. 667 early on, not really respecting the early pressure and especially the damage coming out from the Hecarim, holding on to the flash, and from that point onward, the stompage basically started.
Yeah, I mean, an accelerated Hecarim definitely worked out. As you mentioned before, they had control over literally every neutral objective. Last Cité, they were close to getting one Baron take, but Poppy denied that quite well with her ultimate to just throw the jungler back.
Yeah.
Into his own jungle. But I think overall, Edelweiss, they had a very nice composition. They played very well around it. And I think, yes, this flexibility of having different champs, knowing how to play on these different champs and swap them around, definitely helped them in the draft.
Yeah. Do you think we'll see a Hecarim ban come out here for La Cité?
Probably, yeah, because Hecarim actually got the edge because he was faster through his jungle, and then was able to catch the Vayne off guard, because probably the Vayne was still thinking, okay, he's on top skull or something, but because he was so fast, he was there in the right moment at the right place, and it definitely worked out for them. But we see a LeBlanc ban again first. I guess they really don't want to play against this LeBlanc.
Yeah. Also, like, I think it's even an understatement to say that Motomoto really did not have the best game there of his life on that Echo. Okay. Did people hear that on stream? It sounded like somebody fell off the chair here. But last day, or both teams actually here so far, sticking to the same bans we've seen before. Especially targeting the Xin Zhao here as well as the LeBlanc, not wanting to give that into the hands of Naofin here, especially after they saw what he can really accomplish on that champion.
Yeah, I think Xin Zhao, especially like he's a very meta champ, he is very good, and giving that into the hand of Naofin, we see what he can do if he has a champ that he can accelerate with. Now Xin Zhao is one of his mains, he is playing very good on it. And we've seen it yesterday being used quite well and limit testing quite far, but also going through with it. So it's a very good ban towards Naofin. Now we see the Rek'Sai ban again, as in game 1 and 2, and the Shen ban, quite similar bans so far.
They still didn't like the Vladimir. They still fondly remember that one. And yeah, just go about and ban that one out again, as well as I feel it's completely same round 1 bans here for both the teams actually. And now I'm curious here whether they're gonna be changing anything. Ooh. It's actually the Rakan here being picked up on the side of Edelweiss. Really love this one.
I'm curious if they're gonna pick the Thresh against it or the Leona to actually counter the Rakan. But they picked the Rakan first, which doesn't make too much sense. I guess they wanted to pick it away so they can't just lock in the Xayah Rakan again. They still are...
You can pair Rakan perfectly well with other AD carries these days. So
yeah, sure.
I'd personally always go for the Rakan first and then like for the Xayah, because Xayah is like, it's not the best AD carry. She's really just like shining together with the Rakan. But as we say, like, this is a very safe bot lane though for Lassite here. Between the Featherstorm and the Dark Passage, they have a lot of safety down in the bottom lane. And yeah, it looks like it's going to be the Ezreal here once again for the side of Edelweiss, switching up the supports here at least. And yeah.
I think this is actually quite interesting because we've seen it before. They locked in Ezreal and they've sent the Poppy roaming through all the map and getting advantages wherever she could. And now I think Rakan is also very good in just leaving Ezreal alone. He's completely fine against Xayah if he respects the Blade Caller. So he needs to be respectful with that. Yeah. But Rakan can go and roam around all the map, create advantages where he can, and yes, we'll see if that is going to work out good for them. Viego getting locked in as well has worked out before quite well. Relatively well, I would say.
Yeah, it was
a
really good pick, actually. And like Viego, he always has like big potential, because once he gets those resets, he really starts going. You know, even in these early fights before you even have that heartbreaker, he's so strong, and he's a super consistent champ throughout the entirety nearly of the game. And also love the Viego here being picked up, because once again he's really a triple flex. They can play it in either top, mid lane, or the jungle, as the set this time around will be banned away. And 667 once again having that Irelia here most likely for himself. That is of course still a flex pick, can also be put into the hands of Arno here. But both of the teams actually currently, I assume, looking for a bit of AP damage here to diversify their damage profiles. But I mean, we said that before, and we had like 3 out of the 4 comps we've seen so far were full AD, so
yeah.
Don't mind me, I guess. They do take away the Rise there as well as the Graves, though, banning out a bit of comfort, or making sure that 667 will be more likely here to be rocking that Irelia and not flexing it to the top and then picking the Rise for himself, as that's a Nidalee here that's picked up for Motomoto.
Nidalee is quite a difficult jungler to play. Like, you really know how to get through your own jungle, but if you know how to do it, it's a really strong jungler. You see it everywhere around the world as well. Canyon, for example, is a good example. Like, insanely good if you use it correctly. Can be paired up quite well with a Renekton top, where you can set up this stun and then get the spear. So maybe we see a Nidalee Renekton. We see the Hecarim getting locked in for Naufin again.
Yep.
So they did not ban this out. Now top lane, we'll see what Theoloris is going to pick here, but he has to be careful about that Nidalee Renekton combo. So maybe he just wants to pick it for himself, but we'll see what he will go for.
I'm just saying, it could and probably should be the cannon here again, but they're just saying no. They're just saying no. We don't want AP damage.
Yeah,
apparently Edelweiss doesn't like AP, so it's fair, I guess.
I mean, it worked out last game. So
yeah, it did.
Oh,
I was just saying. I mean, against the comp that really literally goes full ham here, like Lacité did twice now. This time around, they're potentially at least a little more defensive here with the Thresh at least, but still it's like all aggression on their champions here, as they do lock in the Syndra here for that last pick. We have to quickly restart that draft there, I think. I'm not entirely sure whether there's a change. I think we'll quickly have to run through that draft again here. But yeah, that was the Syndra there being picked up, indicating that that Irelia will be going top after all.
Yeah, Irelia top can be played quite well, I think, and especially I'm curious if they'll set now 667 towards that top lane with the Irelia, because he already had a quite nice Irelia game in the mid lane. Maybe they'll just try to do a role swap now, and maybe their top laner can also play towards that mid lane. So they'll just swap the role there and keep the very good player on Irelia and just move him towards the top lane. We'll see if that's going to work.
I mean, they could also put the Renekton mid, you know.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can also play the ranked in mid, but then you have Viego top, and I know how this matchup is working from Irelia Viego. Like Renekton Viego, I think both of them have a relatively decent matchup into the Irelia. Irelia now, however, can set up a Nidalee Spear quite well as well with a Flawless Duet or with her ult to slow him. So he has to be quite careful playing around that top side, because I imagine Nidalee, she likes to be around top and mid.
Yeah, definitely so. Especially when she gets to focus down onto one target rather than 2 at the same time. But we have to mention, like, Renekton, as much of a staple as he's been in drafts all around the world, he got hit quite hard in patch, I always want to say 10, 11, 18, where they changed it so that his W animation will actually lock him out of like any further actions for quite a significantly longer times, leading to a drop of his win rate in like 4%. So quite a significant nerf, and they will actually be partially reverting that going into 11.19. But as it currently stands, Renekton is certainly not in the best form that he's ever been in, and that for a champion that always like really relies on his early game strength in particular, like you said, like setting up these Nidalee spears, going for those kind of combinations, and then like trying his best to like snowball ahead, but like past the 2 item marks he falls off so quickly. I mean, I think season 11 has really benefited him due to the fact that he now has Scoredrinker, who is like perfect synergy with the entirety of his kit. He gets bonus health from from his ultimate to begin with. He can then heal up. He can easily get into the middle of the entire enemy team, therefore gets more healing. You can combine that with the Sterak's Gauge that just gives you even more HP and the shield on top of it all. And then usually you go you opt in for the like Guardian Angel third, because you have that stopwatch, can go look for some aggressive dives potentially, and then it also provides you with a good safety net. But it's like he's never been like the super late game champion.
Yeah, obviously late game it's not insanely, but also with a slice and dice, for example, you can actually just go through the whole enemy comp and try to stun that AD carry, and it's just gonna be I think the allure is him being such a strong top laner and Renekton being a very strong early game champ. I think towards the start they will have a very rough time on that top side. Irelia, if she plays it perfectly, can play quite well against this Renekton. However, Naufin is on his Hecarim, and we've seen it before. He has a quite huge impact and can set up early ganks.
Let's see if that will be the same if he doesn't go 11-0.
Yeah,
but yeah, I'm still confident in the guy, I gotta say. Secret a bit of synergy actually. Talking about Renekton late game, like if you stack up your Fury bar over half, your second iteration of your slice and dice will reduce the enemy's armor, and when you're running a full AD comp, that will of course benefit the entirety of your team. But that is oftentimes not what you pick Renekton for. Just putting it out there, there is technically synergy, so it's not too bad. It's not too bad.
Yeah, of course, but also like actually I want to focus a bit more on La Cité, because their comp again does not really have a front line. They have an Irelia that sometimes can be a bit of a front line, but she usually wants to jump around, go in, maybe get the AD carry or something, but they don't really have a front line. And if there's a Hecarim running at you and you don't really have a front line, I see there might be some issues depending on how far ahead or how far behind you are. But the Syndra Scatter of the Week also can help out quite a bit there, depending on if Hecarim has his ult available or not.
By the way, I quickly want to start a small challenge here for our production team. If you can get like a close-up, an observe where we like follow the Hecarim, and you put on gas in the back of that during that clip, I'll buy you a round. So just putting it out there. You don't have to do it, of course. We'll just be very, very disappointed. But if you can do it, you can also look for a DMCA free version, I guess. Or is that like DMCA enough, you think?
I kind of have my doubts there, but I think seeing the Hecarim just running around, that would already be quite cool to see. Like when he's just going with 200 kilometers per hour onto an AD carry and just like, oh well, he just falls. So well,
or they can like edit like a car over him and like. Okay, that would probably be a little much here. But we're back into draft here. We got everything lined up for you guys. It is actually going to be the Viego mid here once again for the DC by the looks of it. And on the side of La Cité, we had that Syndra being picked up last second there for them onto 667. I like this one a lot more, I gotta say. Also the fact that this time around La Cité actually has quite a significant amount more of CC, because I felt that was really lacking in the last game, especially against something like that Hecarim, because there literally was no way to stop him. I mean, how would they do that? Like,
yeah, it's very true.
The Vayne can knock him back, but it's like not proper CC. It just keeps on running, you know?
Yeah, and like it's not really a stun or a root. It's just like, oh well,
It's
got knocked back, but I'll just keep running at you.
It's slightly uncomfortable, I guess. You know?
Yeah, but having a bit of CC obviously is going to help a lot. But it's a flawless threat from Irelia, which is kind of difficult to hit when there is a full speed Hecarim running. Then
well,
you
always have to flay though from the Thresh.
True. The flay from the Thresh can help out a lot. The cage as well, so his ultimate, and then maybe he can also land a hook or whatever. But yes,
or like the Scatter the Weak, of course, always from Syndra,
yes.
if that one manages to connect. And Hecarim still not like being the tankiest champ around usually, can go down quite quickly actually.
Yes, I see it. I feel like they're a bit low HP targets because Thresh does not really... He has Aftershock here, but he usually is not very tanky. He has the Lantern for a bit more safety. Saya is a very safe AD carry as well, but I feel like Elix and Centauri, they should have a good lane, so I really expect that Elix is going to lane half of the match quite alone, and Centauri is running around trying to get some advantages somewhere else on the map. But I think Elix getting that scaling going, of course Saya scales as well, but I think if you have a very good Ezreal with 2 to 3 items, that really starts to hurt, especially if your composition doesn't really have a tank to absorb this the Mystic shots. And if you get a very nice 3-man ultimate through the squishy targets, you have a Renekton that can run in, you have a Hecarim that can run in at any moment, especially with the ultimate. So Scatter of the Weak or anything that does not help anymore because he is unstoppable. So yes, I see like late game it might get a bit difficult, but also the Renekton falls off towards late game.
Yeah. Actually, looking at the two drafts here from both of the teams, it's actually quite hard here to evaluate who really has the big advantage here, because on the side of Edelweiss, you have bonkers engage, like between the Rakan great entrance and the quickness, plus of course the Hecarim ulti, Renekton potentially diving into your backline, and then also the Viego, who usually has great access into the backline, backed up by an Ezreal just firing out those Mystic shots. And as we mentioned yesterday, Ezreal kind of reverse scales with your opponent's composition and how well they can really lock you down. And this time around, it's like, can they avoid like getting engaged upon super hard and dying right away and then get onto the Ezreal, which will make it quite hard. As once again, we have a beautiful cinematic shot of Summoner's Rift here. But also something that I'd like to stress here, I mean, on the side of La Cité, they have a big advantage when it comes to A, range and wave clear. So especially during those mid-game setups, when we're looking at these big objectives like the Dragon Soul potentially. Okay, for once a little bit of level 1 action here. Or also just being being able to rotate faster between like the Syndra and the Saya, and also to a certain degree Arno on his Irelia. They actually do a decent job clearing these waves, while a Viego and an Ezreal, they can oftentimes struggle a little bit in that regard. And especially when they're trying to siege, having that Syndra here, being able to clear out the minions here from afar will be a quite good advantage for them, or also like a safety net.
Yeah, I think it's actually have two things to see here. There are already 2 deep wards placed, so they will know that the Edelweiss jungle will start on his red side, so he will path bot to top as he did last match as well, because he's not showing on his blue where they put a ward. And also there is a summoner's difference in the mid lane, so the DC is running TP and 667 is running the Ignite. Arno already going very early for a huge trade because he has a stacked up passive, but the Aloris does it's a bit of a favorable trade for Arno here.
Yeah, does manage to push that one in early. So it's a good thing if you're playing that solo lane, especially up in the top lane, and you manage to push in on level 1 already. The wave will be bouncing back early on, and that means like anywhere around level 3, you'll have the wave right in front of your own tower, and that will be a good opportunity for your jungler to maybe come by and say hi.
Oh, 667 is on the chase onto now.
Why are you bullying me?
Oh, gets a good stun.
Oh, and
so
there's
the blue
reset on the blue buff.
So oh, the DC is coming in. Oh, but Nidalee's already here, providing a good safety. Oh no, they might look onto an invade onto Naufin because he's going fairly low. Spear misses, but I think he can't mess with a double buff Moto. But now the DC is coming as well. Irelia is on the way as well, so it's a 3v4. Blues, it resets again. Oh no, Naufin is already having such a rough game. There are 3 people in his topside jungle, and he can't really contest this. Irelia is... she just abandoned the lane, but now Theoloris is here as well. The DC is wrapping around. Oh, it gets smited, and it's a huge stun by 667 onto Theoloris. The DC is in the middle of them, has to flash out. Arno flashes with him and gets the last auto and gets the double kill. Like,
such a good series of plays here by the side of Lassit there, really putting the pedal to the metal here and looking to accelerate this game fast. They steal away the blue buff here. Moto actually managed to get the smite off onto it there, and then also 667 and Arno both getting a kill here. That will help them quite a bit. As we have another look here at the replay. Also Arno doing a good job pushing in the wave early. Renekton not really too much power yet. And yeah, Naufin just being level 2 here still does not have too much to say here. As then a beautiful flawless duet there to stun up both Theoloris and the DC, as Arno there follows him over the wall and gets a kill for himself.
At least Naufin got the Gromp in the end, so a bit of a consolation prize. Oh, flash forward by Moto. Theoloris is relatively low. It gives a thumbs up to Moto. I think, oh, okay, Spear does not connect. He tanks another tower shot.
But look at this.
He's relatively low.
That's a 20 CS lead here for Arno already. Theoloris just burned his TP on top side and now has to reset once again, while Arno can potentially, yeah, we'll get that first turret plating here. I think deny another full wave here. And look at this. Arno is level 5. Theoloris is level 3. So, yeah, them really focusing on that top side here of the map. It worked for them really well in game number 1. As now down in the bottom lane.
I don't know if they know actually. Oh, okay, now they should know, but they go straight onto Elix. He has the Arcane Shift, so he's quite safe. He just Arcane Shift away, so it's not a huge cheese there. They were probably aware of that. Centauri just making sure Elix can base there, being that far off. Okay, there's not in flay range. So Moto is going to start up this Drake, knowing that Elix just based, so they can't really contest that without an AD carry. Yep. Naufin, before, as we saw the top play from Moto, where he was going onto the Renekton, flashing forward even, Naufin used the time to clear the full jungle, the bot side jungle of Moto, so he came back with some CS. So the jungle is a bit equalized because of that, because Moto used so much time in the top side getting this Renekton behind. And yes, you said at the start, if Renekton is behind, he needs to kind of get an edge in the early game, otherwise he does not really provide so much value as you would love to.
Yeah, it does. Finally catch up here a little bit, is now up to level 5. Moto sacrificing a lot of his own jungle there, as you mentioned, is behind about 10 CS here at the DC now. Looking for some action here potentially onto 667, but he does stay safe behind the minions there, and of course does have a wave clear advantage against him, as Moto is up in the top lane here once again. Looking
Arno is level 6, so he could go in, but I think
Moto does get spotted.
Oh, it's actually a 3. Okay, they saw them on the pink ward. So I don't know if they know Moto is here, but
we don't know whether they know whether we know that they know that they know. you know?
True. But I think Rakan is somehow expecting it, or he just wants to help out Theoloris because he was set behind very early and he's not even level 6 yet. So I think Arno has a huge advantage here in the top lane. So Centauri wants to bail out his top laner a bit, and Ezreal gets a lot of solo XP in the bot lane, which is quite good for him. But Thresh gets quite some deep wards and some good information. Now Flawless Duet hits. Moto is here as well. Centaur is on the way as well. This is going to be a fight. Theoloris popped it. Now Finn is here as well. What a nice double knock-up, and Theoloris gets the kill.
Beautifully done.
Oh, the fleeing here as well. Now Finn is going for the tower dive. He goes for this every day of the week, even though he dies probably, but he always...
Hashtag worth in all chat here, please. I just wanted to say, like, the irony was great that after game number 2, that Theoloris was actually set behind.
Oh, actually, Flawless
Duet to our viewers.
Did not hit, so...
The joke or the skill?
The skill shot. The choke was relatively okay, I would say, but...
The DC there stealthing up and making sure he does stay safe. Unleash power there is popped by 667, but also both the ignite and the flashing does actually not get the kill down onto the DC, who does manage to stay alive here. And so far, it's a bit repeating story here. Outside, like, Arno is still very well in the game currently. I mean, well, Theoloris has is a little suffering here. But once again, now Finn getting some momentum, already has a bit about a 20 CS lead here over Motomoto, but down in the bottom lane here, Hitokuro and Kyozum doing such a great job here of bullying the Ezreal and the Rakan here a little bit out of lane.
Yeah, and I think as far as now Finn is up in the jungle, Arno is ahead in top. So I think that's quite equalized over the map, but very well awareness by now Finn and Centauri there to be ready, and as soon as Arno and Motomoto try to get onto the Renekton, they are there to respond. But now Motomoto is here again, 667 is here as well, but they don't have a wave yet. The DC is here as well. They have...
There's the stun onto the Theoloris.
The DC against... Oh, actually gets Lantern onto 667. The DC is getting ignited. Hook misses. Now Finn is going in onto 667. Theoloris is now coming as well. Stun onto Nidalee. Nidalee is still stunned from the Spectral Maw from the DC. So well played by them. They get the Nidalee very
does
early.
not have flash
Centauri
here.
with a knock-up onto 667. Combined with the Spectral Maw from the Viego. They get 2 kills from just an overcome, I think.
Yeah, and I was just about to praise Lassie D here for like saying, okay, yeah, a big advantage here. The Hecarim is not like 6-0 within the first 10 minutes of the game. You can actually start invading him, especially together with a champion like the Syndra and putting some pressure onto that pony. But yeah, they just completely get punished here up in the top lane after an initially decent attempt here, but the wave just wasn't quite in place there, and then it was super scattered. Arno was not able to join the fight, so it was a 3v3 here, and Theoloris with his ultimate has just had the health pool here to match up against them, and Arno never even got to enter the fight here. And then the DC, after getting out the flash from 667 earlier with that kill attempt, managing to get a double kill here, which is really huge here for Edelweiss.
A TP from the DC down into the bottom lane. I think they want to contest this Drake that is spawning, that is already spawned here.
Oh, the DC?
Good hook lands onto the DC. Play now as well. DC flashes out. Elix is now here to get some damage done. Scatter of the Weak misses, so Elix can step forward a bit, can put out these Mystic shots. But now I think there is going to be a 4v4 here around the Drake. Okay, Hook does not miss. I think Elix is doing a very good job. Just poking.
Look at that ultimate though! He charges in there, fully loops around and takes them out, and Motomoto can only watch, try and throw out these spears, but there's no way in hell that they're getting onto that dragon here. Edelweiss saying, Okay, yeah, I mean, you know the deal after the last game. There's a pony, and the pony gets right up in your
Quickness
face.
being popped, and knock up a chain CC as well. The DC is able to pick up now, and they're going in on this bottom lane. The DC tanks the tower for so long. He gets quite low, has to use his ult to get out of this again. Now Kuro uses his ult aggressively to maybe get some... Oh, they're basing on a ward, but I think it should be fine. Theoloris stepping up a bit forward. Flawless Duet does not hit, so Theoloris should be fine here. But it's quite insane how much pressure Arno still can put up here in the top lane against Theoloris. But very well played by Naufin here to wrap around, use his ult, and then they just get the chain CC and get a pick, and they also ended up with a second one because of a very nice engage from Centauri with the quickness into the knock-up, into the Spectral Maw from the DC. And yes, very well played by Eloy so far.
Currently, even after that nice series,
but they're going in on to 667. Very nice scatter of the week to push them away again, though.
Even after that nice series of plays coming out from Edelweiss Esports here, Lassite is actually still in the lead, only by about 300 gold, though, which is largely to be attributed to the fact that Arno here is really, really ahead, still up in the top lane. Does have about a 30 CS lead here, and yeah, resulting in about a 1,200 gold lead.
He tries to get out again, but I think he went in too far. He face checks 3 people and tries to get out through the Saya. So yeah, that maybe was a bit over-aggressive. Maybe he's still feeling like an 8-0 Hecarim that can do stuff like this.
Yeah. But I mean, last game, I think at this point it was when he also completed the Divine Thunder, but on top of that, he also already had Mercury threats and another Phage on top of it. Just for good measure, you know? And then he based and got like 2.5 items total. Like, absolutely insane. This time around, a little more modest in terms of that Hecarim lead, and Lassite is currently up by about 1,000 gold there. We can have a look here again at yeah, a really nice control here from Edelweiss on that bottom side. There we see Naufin going all the way around, not being spotted. Now they see him charge in here.
4-man ultimate. Everybody was fleeing, and sadly the Syndra was a bit too much forward and was fleeing back into Edelweiss, so she just did not have any way out of there. But Izakura gets quite a lot of damage onto this tower, and the Aurelia was really accelerated because she was top lane. She got the Herald as well.
Cancels the back there for Motomoto. Nicely done by Elix.
Yeah, but so far I think the game looks kinda even. I think this Aurelia is quite a threat at the moment, but you have a 1-0 Ezreal who is just going to get stronger and stronger throughout the game. You have a 3-1 Viego, and you have to be really careful about giving him some resets, because as you all know, with resets he can really pop off in team fights. Motomoto now, they're fighting over these Raptors.
Yep.
Now Finn's probably just gonna get maybe more pops to Ghost, and
Okay,
goes in. Very nice flee and pop up, and just goes out of the mid. Ooh,
oh my
Centauri with a nice battle dance to his teammate Theoloris, tries to get out here as well. Oh, very nice positioning to dodge the feathers.
Now Finn going in again, but does get stunned up here by 667.
Oh, very nice
smite off onto the blue buff here. Tops him off a little bit in terms of health. Does he manage to get out? I think no. Now Finn though staying alive for such a long time. But 667 eventually claiming the kill here, thanks to that ignite and the double buffs on him currently. Also the DC, instead of opting for another Divine Thunder here on his team, he actually decided to opt for the Blade of the Ruin King here. Quite fitting, of course, for himself. But that kind of indicates that he really wants to go for these extended kind of fights rather than the quick trades here. He knows, okay, we're brawling so much already here. We're nearly at 1 kill a minute. So it just makes sense for him to get that one early.
Yeah, and I think overall in the team compositions as well, I think Lassite, they kinda want to get some trades, but I think they just want to.
Beautiful
very
stun
nice
here from
double
Arno.
stun, but Theolores is there to get the stun.
Goes in
Arno's
though.
very low. Now Finn secures the kill onto Arno. Now TP is getting channeled. The DC is here in the mid lane as well. La Cité is already disengaged, but this means I think. Ooh, okay, that spear did not hit.
Onslaught of Shadows just coming off a cooldown here.
Oh, the spears really hurt, so they have to be careful not tanking too many of them. But this should be a free Drake because Arno is still down, and that's the hugest member on their team. I'm concerned. Are they going to turn
They're
here?
connecting onto the Allures. There's the Onslaught of Shadows, and that's the shutdown onto 667. Moto gets pulled back out there by the Dark Passage, but the DC here going forward, claiming the body of the Xayah, and now trying to get in onto Kyozo. Moto, it has to run for the hills, and Theolores wants his revenge for earlier. Goes underneath the tower here. Ilix picking up one of the kills here, and Moto tries to hide under the tower, but he knows what's coming his way. Now Finn picking up the kill. It cannot be saved by his support. Great attempt there, but they will not only be claiming the second dragon here of the game, but also make sure that tower down in the bottom lane does fall, but Narno wants to say in this as well. Flawless Duet there does not connect, and he'll just be picking up that minion wave, and the tower gets to live another day.
Oh, we actually get to see a little replay here. A very nice catch of the week onto Knife, and Centauri gets poked very low by the spear, so they start up the Drake here. They know that Arno is not here to challenge this, so they're actually Syndra goes very much forward. Dolores gets hooked, but now Finn pulls the trigger, goes right onto the Syndra, and they shut her down immediately. Now the DC is looking for some trades because he killed Xayah completely in another fight. Now he's trying to go into Kizome, but now they just go for the dive because Theolores is very tanky and can tank the turret for quite a long time. So Elix is able to get the free hits. The DC survives with like 1 HP, but I think here, now Finn, I don't think you should go onto the tower because you had a minion wave coming in. But another fight breaking out.
Centauri there falling to the hands of Hitokuro, rather the feathers. Killzone is now caught off guard though. The DC claiming another kill there and going on someone. There's the Onslaught of Shadows going in there, but he's all by himself currently. Does nearly get taken out, about 50 HP there onto the Hecarim, but he does survive the fight.
Oh, that was
one though. Like it's just trading support here, but a lot of action here between those teams. As now Arno wants a piece of the action as well.
Arno and Moto are looking for this red buff, but Theolores and the Leaks are here as well.
No, Moto is playing so ballsy, even though he's so behind currently. Like, still is one level behind. He only has his mythic completed and even opted for the plate.
Oh, Elix has to be careful here. He gets hit by a Sketch of the Week, and that is just way too cocky. He should never be so far up the lane when he does not know the position of 4 of the La Cité members. They're looking to siege down on this tower, so they'll get as well. Arno is going further.
They're playing with fire here, going down to the unleash power here from 667, and that will push the snowball further here onto that mid lane inhibitor turret just at the 20-minute mark here, and they even decide to take down the inhibitor here, not stun their lands onto the DC. And yeah, this was not quite, it didn't go as planned here for Edelweiss. They lose 2 towers in the process and their mid lane inhibitor.
Actually, sometimes it's not even that bad to lose mid lane inhibitor early because it's basically just free farm, so you can scale better, or you have more farm than your opponents. But also it puts a lot of pressure onto you. Oh,
no!
It actually gets smited by Naufin.
There's the Onslaught of Shadows,
but he's base tanking into 5 people again.
If Naufin, I just want to say, if Naufin dies here, they might just be losing Baron, but they are going in there. Theolores
what an engagement by Centauri!
He gets into the backline there, Centauri with a beautiful ultimate. But
the DC now actually has a reset that he can work with. He's Aurelia, but I think he can't catch up. He actually uses his
he does catch Killzone there. He goes godlike and picks up the Thresh's body there. And I don't think either of the teams...
3v3. I think Edelweiss can go for this.
Baron.
Elix
he gets a stun onto Hitokuro. Will he be able to take him down? Not quite. Centauri He also falls, and they claim another 3 kills here on the side of La Cité at I always want to call them Edward Gaming because of EDW. But otherwise, they're completely overestimating themselves, and they will pay dearly here. Have to give up the Baron after that series of action here. La Cité extending their gold lead to 3k just after that fight, and I think the Baron will add another 1.5k to the pot here as it does go down, and now it becomes so much harder here for the side of Edelweiss.
Here we see a little replay. Naufin is going super aggressive, but he's face tanking 5 people, gets hooked by the Thresh, so he's immediately going down. Now it's a 4v5. Theoloris gets hooked as well. Centauri with an insane engage gets a 3-man knock-up and the charm onto Arne as well, but he has to pay with his
follow-up.
Actually, does not have to pay with his life, but Theoloris paid with his life. Now DDC is chasing the Thresh, gets the quite nice kill. And now it's a 3v3, but Elix decides to go for the Gromp. The DC gets a bit baited here because Hitakura already had 2 feathers behind him.
What is Elix doing here?
Yeah, I don't know, he was just fighting another fight against the Gromp. And the DC was a bit baited because Saya Hitakura already had 2 feathers behind him, hit with 1 basic attack.
It's like that moment when everybody's mid lane and your jungler decides to do Crux and you're like, buddy, it's neither the time nor the place now, and he does have to pay there with his life as La Cité is now looking to take that.
Naufin actually going straight in again, but I don't know if you want that. Oh,
Tori going really low.
That's a stun onto Kyozum. Now the DC is a bit too far up. Ultimate from Arno lands as well and just picks him up, and there everybody is quite low. Very nice knockback from from Naufin actually. Elix picks up the kill. Ooh, Mystic Shot almost hits on Kyozum.
Still alive. Oh my gosh, another stun there does connect Hitakura with the flash forward and the auto attack does seal the deal here for the enemy AD carry. Now they're setting their sights onto the second inhibitor here of the game. Only 2 members alive here for Edelweiss Gaming. Can they hold the base is the question, as La Cité is looking to potentially end the game here. Centauri is back on the map. And now
what a scatter of the week onto Theoloris.
On his Syndra, you're really putting in the work. Such fantastic plays coming out. Really been connecting some quite crucial stuns here. Does have the Void Staff completed already and will now potentially be looking here to start building towards that Rabadon's death cap here soon. Also has that Magi's built out now with 10 stacks on it already, and if he keeps up playing like that here, he will be able to stack that one rather quickly.
Oh, but it's very difficult. If we look at the individual gold, we see Saya, because she picked up the 1k shutdown before onto the DC, is sitting on 11k. She's 4-1-6, and she has such a huge amount of power now. And on the other side, Elix is around 8k, around close to 9k, and he can pull out some damage, but as long as the DC does not get a reset, and that's a huge stun. And now Arno is actually going into tower range, and the DC, his mythic already popped, but
did actually go
much.
for the Immortal Shieldbow here, which is an interesting choice. Not opting for the Divine Sunderer here. And La Cité here, unrelenting in their siege attempt. They really want to go by the books here, finishing out the 3rd inhibitor here potentially, but mid lane
now Finn is going in though. Oh, the box just stops his...
now Finn here being rooted up, having no fun indeed. Arno in the back line here, like 3v1ing everybody and even surviving for forever there. And that's inhibitor down and the game in the bag here for La Cité. They played enough. They're going in there now, Finn, with a last desperate attempt, but it will not be enough. La Cité closing out the best of 3 here with a 2-1, and that means they are our semi-finalists here and will be going up against My Insanity.
What a game we just witnessed, and what an La Cité. They were pushing so hard to actually get this win. They got a mid-inhib quite early, and then they just went on. I think Naufin, I think it was 3 times he face tanked 5 people, got hooked and just was going down. Then they tried to maybe fight the 4v5, but it was so difficult to play for them. Syndra hit some really great scatter of the weeks, and yes, they just played very well. Arno was popping off on his Irelia as well. Zaya activated on 11k, and it's just super difficult to play against.
And I mean that was before she even finished off her Infinity Edge. That would have looked even more different again. Yeah, just a fantastic game here, coming out actually from both teams, but in the end, I felt like it also came down a bit to the nerves. You could really feel that Edelweiss, they were crumbling a little bit under the pressure, especially Naufin looking for these plays and then being caught out of position over and over again, and then also the DC after having
we see
a
it
great
actually
game
from Hecarim running in onto the opponents, and here actually they get Arno and they punish him for extending too far. And now Naufin, he does that so often. Like if he sees a kill, he's going for it.
That was too slow for gas. That's just no. Only if Predator and Ghost are activated.
Oh, here we see again Naufin with a perfect ult. Syndra going down immediately. Spear hits onto Elix, but it doesn't really matter here. I think that was an overstep as well.
They did such a good job in bullying Motomoto nearly out of the game.
Yeah, but here they couldn't go back because Kyozom is coming from there. 667 as well.
It was too much. It was too much here. Like them diving between towers. No, there's a line, you know. There's a limit that you should not go. And look at that stun here from 667. Just like stopping Naufin mid-charge of his E. Such an incredible
went the
play.
flash forward with connecting with the Q, ignite, and the basic attack just is able to finish him off. I think here, we see that he's actually flash spectral maw into the stun. He gets rooted, but the Heartbreaker is just able to finish him off. And Naufin here going in as well. A very nice shutdown onto the Syndra. And now they just have a Superman advantage to go, just keep going and chasing. Blast Cone saves Kyozom here, but they eventually will end up diving this. But here again, I think they just overextended so often and very unnecessary. Naufin did never have to go for the dive here. The DC is super low. They have a wave coming in here. Moto, there is no escape for him. And Naufin is just running in, is not tank enough to tank the tower, and is going down for it.
I think he was still a little caught up in that second game there.
Yeah,
he felt himself.
This was insanely well played, actually. Very good engage from Centauri there. He was still in tower range, so he had to tank up tower shots. Naufin here is going in again, very, very aggressive. Gets the knockback onto Moto. Very nice hook here onto Centauri. Very nice ult to disengage and not getting knocked up by Centauri. But here in the backline, the DC is just rushing over Kyozom. He was just a bit in the wrong position. Here Naufin going in again. I think he only knows go forward, but then he just almost gets killed. It survives with like 10 HP. And oh, here we see it again.
I think Naufin, I think that's also the reason why he's rocking that particular skin here, Naufin. It's like, I think he's actually a car, you know? He's like a transformer.
Look at
that plays League of Legends. Like car goes forward. That was the most beautiful engage, yet completely useless because there was no follow-up from your team and they weren't in position for it.
I mean, it was not useless. He was actually saving a lot of his teammates because they probably would have died all there. So this is a nice
That's
pick
what
up
I always tell
Thresh.
myself when I play support. It's like, you know, I saved you guys. I had the perfect engage. It's not my fault. You guys just didn't follow.
And here it's again Naufin going forward, and Arno just
really
doing
having no
so
fun
much.
Look
he
at
tanks
this.
up.
And then Arno just going full hammer. Look how long he survives there. That's just insane.
Yeah, Locket's coming off as well. His W doing so
and
much.
And the healing between the Blade of the Ruined King and his passive is just absolutely incredible together, of course, with the Conqueror Keystone. In the end, Lossite just proved that they had the better nerfs, especially when it came to closing out the game. I mean, otherwise they gave them a real run for their money, I gotta say. But in the end, like Naufin seemed a little shaky with the nerfs there, because he had a fantastic game number 2, but in game number 3, there some as you said, like car goes forward. Sometimes it's okay to step on the brakes a little bit and to take the small leads rather than risk everything, because sometimes it works, but in game number 3 it unfortunately didn't here for Edelweiss. That means unfortunately that they're out of the competition, and La Cité does move forward into our semi-finals.
Yeah, but what a game. I'm really excited to have seen this one. It was amazing to cast as well. Very cool team fights that we were able to see. Sadly, it was a quite fast game, I would say, because they got a very early mid inhibitor, and then from then it kind of snowballed into the way of La Cité. They found ways how to win team fights, and Edelweiss, they tried to go forward. They tried to somehow get a fight going, but they were just always bullied back again. So La Cité, they got a pick, and then were able to just siege again onto another tower and just break open the base. And at some point with inhibitor minion waves, it's just super difficult to play.
Yeah, definitely so. And let's actually have a look here of how the bracket looks after tonight's matches. We said it already here. Mind Sanity, after that death win against Noetic Frost, they move forward into our semi-finals, where they are joined here by La Cité, who after a fantastic game number 3 managed to come back here and secure themselves the win. Now the only thing that's left to determine is who will actually be playing in our grand finale coming up on the 3rd of October live from the Hero Fest in Bern. Will it be Mind Sanity or La Cité versus either Lostic or Fragbox? So it will be quite tense. Make sure you tune back in. We'll quickly show you the dates that you should note down here if you want to catch some more esports action from the Swisscom Hero League, powered by ESL. Can we get that one back? Thank you very much. There we go. On the 20th, so next Monday, we'll have our first round of semi-finals in CSGO. And then on Tuesday and Wednesday, there will be the League of Legends semi-finals taking place, followed by another round of CSGO semis right on Thursday. And then on the 2nd of October, I think that's actually still wrong here, if I'm not mistaken, we'll only have the CSGO finals on the 2nd of October, and then Clash Royale and League of Legends will both be taking place on Sunday, so the 3rd of October. But for confirmation, make sure to drop us a follow at ESL Swiss and Swisscom_gaming on Twitter, where we'll of course keep you updated with anything surrounding the league.
Yeah, and if you looked at the games today, I would come in and watch, because it's really it's very entertaining and hype moments, and it's really cool to see actually players that are not like playing in the LEC or in any big stages. They still have some very good team plays. They still have some very good synergy with each other, and have some really cool outplays. Yeah.
So you can't watch G2 at Worlds this year, unfortunately, but you can come watch our players here. On stream the upcoming weeks on Tuesday and Wednesday, both at 8 p.m. here live on twitch.tv/ESL Swiss, and then of course at our grand finale. Make sure you check us out there. Make sure to also drop us a follow, of course, my dear friend here at Safair on where are you on, where can we find you, like Twitter, Instagram?
Actually I have Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, almost everything, but not super active on it.
Just look for it and you're gonna find him. Also a fantastic coach, I guess, when it comes to if you want to get into Rocket League, for example.
Yeah,
so,
a bit more experience there. Yes,
a slight bit. And of course, also make sure you drop me a follow on Instagram. I just wanted to say Facebook, but who uses Facebook these days? I mean, on Twitter, Instagram, and of course on Twitch, I'm going to be streaming quite a bit more in October, hopefully. But that concludes the show here for tonight. We had some fantastic games here to witness. I hope you had as much fun as we had. And I'll leave you the last word here tonight.
Yeah, I just want to say thanks to everyone coming in. It was an amazing show, and I really, really enjoyed casting alongside such a pro like him. And it's just really amazing, the hype, and seeing actually Edelweiss, a very new team coming into the league. They sadly dropped out in the semis, but the quarters, not in semis yet. They sadly dropped out, but it's still, they made it very far. And yes, I'm glad that we see some new players, young players, encouraged into playing some leagues as well, into esports. So yes, keep it up, and thank you everyone for coming by.
And good night.
Start your esports career now at play.eslgaming.com.
Mit dem Scheitel wäre es natürlich toll, wenn man den nicht vergisst zu machen, weil sonst ist es einfach nervig, wenn man jetzt...
Alice, kannst du mir helfen mit dem WLAN-Passwort?
Mom, geh doch einfach auf die My Swisscom App!
You ready? Huh? Hey, he's a good boy, huh? You ready? Huh?
Start your esports career now at play.eslgaming.com.
You love it, you wear it. What's your style? Get your merch at shop.eslgaming.com.
Et voilà, Internet ultra rapide.
Toujours pas.
Ah non. Ouais, allô? Ouais, écoutez, j'ai un souci familial. Ça marche pas.
What's your style? Get your merch at shop.eslgaming.com.
We're stuck in your car on a Friday night. And we laugh over stuff we try not to talk about. Still your smile keep on heating up the climate. And all the blood to my cheeks are rushing out, yeah, yeah. And by accident, you're getting closer. Oh, can you tell me something, tell me something? Is it a wild shot of letting you know that you're the topic of all of my thoughts, yeah. 'Cause I'm so sick of this friend zone. tell me something. Is it a world short of letting you know that you're the topic of all of my thoughts, yeah. And that I'm sick of this friend zone. Well, can you tell me something, tell me something? Well, can you tell me something, tell me something? Well, can you tell me something, tell me something? 'Cause I'm so sick of this friend zone.